It is 10 o'clock. Welcome in. It's three-man front on Jox. Pat, Conrad, Molly Landrum back with us tomorrow. So much to get into over the next 4 hours. Thanks for tuning in on this Wednesday. Back in studio with you. We will talk to our main man, Brian Edwards, at 1045 Vegas Insider. Get some Heisman Trophy odds. We'll also get his take on the SEC Media Days poll, if that kind of moved the needle at all in regards to what he's going to do from a Vegas perspective. We will go to Charlotte, North Carolina at 12 noon. Scott Hamilton, a frequent visitor on this program, outstanding sports columnist there in Charleston, South Carolina. He will join the program. We'll get his take on what's going on up at the ACC Media Days as they roll on day number 2. We got plenty of audio to get to from the Big Ten. They kind of did some saber rattling, but Conrad, we start this morning with a disturbing story that started percolating late last night on the interwebs, and it appears that the people that I talked to around the UFL and around the city of Birmingham, it appears that this is a fluid situation, but it appears that Birmingham could be potentially on the chopping block with the UFL franchise Stallions.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's how we have to start the show off today, Pat, but that's exactly what we're doing. So, yeah, if you were on social media late last night, you probably saw this story start to circulate. I know a lot of people were in our mentions on Twitter on the three-man front account because we had Skip Holtz on Monday, and we'll hear what he had to say here in just a couple of minutes. But, yeah, Houston, Birmingham, Memphis, and Michigan were the teams rumored to be on the chopping block and that they would be relocated to locations in Boise, Columbus, Ohio, Orlando, and the Louisville, Kentucky area. And we already have a petition going around online, Pat, to save the Birmingham Stallions. We've heard a lot this morning on Morning Jox. We had a lot of listeners call in and shared their disdain for the news. But as you said, nothing has been official yet. The UFL hasn't made an official decision, official announcement on anything involving the Birmingham Stallions, and we hope that they do ultimately stay here in Birmingham, but certainly some sad news to start us off today, Pat.
So I reached out to a couple of folks, and I was sent a statement. A UFL spokesman sent a statement out, and it read the following: the league office is in the planning stages for next season and beyond. At this point, we have nothing to report on any unauthorized speculation. So I guess that's what the league office is classifying this as, unauthorized speculation. I have been one on this program where from the very get-go, I have tried to educate people on what they have told me, which was it's all about the eyeballs. And if the UFL does indeed make a move and relocate the USFL franchises, because it's kind of odd, the 4 teams that you're talking about are 4 USFL official teams.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
So once the merger took place with the XFL and the Rock Incorporated, it appears that they potentially are looking to disband the original USFL franchises. And if they move out of Birmingham, you lose the number 1 television market in the UFL. We had more people tuned in every single week over St. Louis. So, and then I know some people have come at me on Twitter and they said, well, it looked really bad at Protective Stadium because people didn't show up to the games. And yes, it's about TV viewership, but if it looks bad on television because nobody's going to the games, then I don't blame the UFL for pulling out of Birmingham. Michigan, a team that you're talking about pulling out of the league and moving to another city, they were 3rd in attendance this year in the UFL. Only DC and St. Louis drew more people, physical bodies in the stadium to watch the football team, and Michigan won the UFL championship. So what kind of message are you sending if you pull out and you move the team that won the championship and then you leave the number 1 television market in the league? To me, it is a doomed philosophy, and this league won't be around much longer.
Oh, and by the way, that Birmingham team also won, prior to this year, 3 straight spring football championships.
So every spring champion, you will be, basically, led out of your city to another place. So it's very odd. I will tell you this. Some of the people that have been doing this reporting, I'm not going to name their names, but I have had some people reach out to me and tell me that this guy knows his stuff, that he's solid. I've had other people tell me that one individual that's doing some reporting on it is very close to the infamous podcaster in D.C. that has been none too friendly to Birmingham and some other
He's happy today.
USFL markets. So, and I'll just leave with this. And we're going to hear from Skip Holtz in a minute what he told us just a couple days ago. If you're going to allow a free football clinic for kids to be held this afternoon at Legion Field, and then you pull the rug out, these people are beyond stupid, and we don't want anything to do with them. Be gone. See ya.
Terrible look.
Awful.
Horrible.
And to think, I don't know what logic they might have of, well, let's take the team out of Birmingham. But, hey, the Birmingham fans are still going to be attached to the Stallions, right? They're still going to want to watch whatever the new iteration potentially would be, whether that's the Boise Stallions or whatever, you would want to call them, wherever they would ultimately end up at one of those locations. That's not going to be the case, because you're going to have a lot of people that feel scorned by a league that not only are you moving their team out of them, but while the team was here, you didn't make a concerted effort to promote that product and to connect them with the community, which is the biggest failing of the UFL, in my opinion.
I'm on the UFL's website right now, and they're still promoting the time and location for this afternoon's football clinic at Legion Field.
Well, that's very nice of them.
So, yeah, a free clinic is, according to the website, is still on schedule for this afternoon. And I imagine there will be television cameras there. I imagine folks will want to ask some questions. But let's go back to Monday. We were wrapping up our conversation with Skip Holtz, and the question that has still been out there, and I asked him about the future of the Stallions. Everything you have heard, Coach, back in Birmingham next year, business as usual?
Yes, sir. Everything has been. There has not been anything to let me know that it's on shaky ground. I was told when I asked the question, because I hear the rumors just like everybody else, and I just went to the horse's mouth and was told absolutely not. They're not. Birmingham's not going anywhere. That's what I was told, and I feel comfortable with it, and we're moving forward and business as usual. I think when you look at it, there have been some criticism, maybe the way some of the markets have drawn, and potentially looking to reestablish those maybe in new markets. But from everything I've heard, Birmingham is not in that conversation. But I would also say, to make sure that we're never in it in the future, let's continue to grow attendance. Let's continue to grow it and put people in that stadium, because that's the excitement and the energy, and it's the more the merrier. The more that are there, the more good time everybody's going to have. And I think as these players have built a product on the field that deserves to be one of the most heavily attended programs in the league. And so that's the thing that I would like to just see it continue to grow. The people in Birmingham have been awesome. Love it there. I loved having the opportunity to live there for 2 years. But like I said, unfortunately now we're only there on the weekends, and I just want to see it continue to grow, because the Birmingham name, the Birmingham Stallion name is, it's synonymous with spring football. When you look at all the different leagues going all the way back to the 80s have had the Birmingham Stallions. And right now, for us to be able to have the success, and, there's been 4 seasons that we've played, 2 in the UFL and 2 in the USFL. And the Birmingham Stallions are the only team that have been in all 4 playoffs. And so I think, we've created a product on the field. I just want to see it continue to grow. But I am looking forward to being back in Birmingham in the 2026 season.
There you go. So then the question is, if these reports are true, did they not let the coach know what was going to happen?
It's pretty important.
Skip Holtz is one of the most honest guys that I have been around in this business.
He would not lie to us.
No. And I don't think he's going to go on a radio show, or he would have given an answer that would have given him plenty of wiggle room.
Yes.
And he would have given a political correct answer in regards to what potentially was or was not happening. Now, I also know the way things work in business, and especially when you're dealing with ESPN and Fox, that there are certain decisions that are ultimately going to be made, and they're not going to discuss these things with a coach. So he was probably doing the interview under a certain idea in regards to what the future may look like or what somebody had told him. So I'm not putting it on Skip Holtz at all.
No.
He answered the question honestly and with the information that he had at that particular time. And by the way, I'm not saying that Birmingham's losing their team, I'm just telling you that, you know, just because Skip Holtz said one thing or another, these type decisions are made way above his pay grade, and he may not be in those Zoom calls in regards to what's going to happen in the future. But he obviously gave us the indication, just like he did at the end of the season, that he had heard nothing that would indicate that Birmingham would not have a team.
Well, and like you said, he's not going to make a definitive statement like he did, which is we will be here in Birmingham based on the information he's given for 2026. He's not going to make that kind of a statement if he doesn't actually believe that that is the truth and the information that's been relayed to him. So I'll be honest, I feel bad for Coach Holtz going out there today with those kids when you're trying to go out there and connect with the community and do something good for kids and teach them to grow in the game of football and their love for a game that we all love. And you have this shadow that's going to be over you because, like you said, I mean, media is going to be there. People are going to be there. People are going to ask questions that he's, unfortunately going to have to answer. And I hate that for him and for everyone that's going to be a part of that event today, because it should be about the kids and about a special opportunity for them to meet Coach Holtz and the players and other people from the UFL. And now, you have to answer questions about, well, you said this on a Birmingham radio show on Monday, and now we're getting a separate report a little over 24 hours later. So what's going on here, and what does the future hold? And unfortunately, he very well may not know, just like the rest of us.
I can tell you that Memphis and Houston are completely done. They're toast.
And that's not a surprise.
Both of those franchises, technically speaking, they announced about 4,000 people per game. If you watch the games, you could tell that there might have been a couple hundred people in Memphis.
Oh, I mean,
it was bad.
There were multiple games at about 500 people.
I mean, people in Memphis were shocked that the team came back this year because it was just as bad the year before.
Yes.
So those two franchises, in my opinion, they are gone. I think Michigan and Birmingham are both being discussed potentially. But I reached out to a good friend of mine, Kevin Miller, who you've heard on this program, outstanding talk show host in Boise, Idaho. He's lived in Boise for a very long time in the Paradise Valley. And I reached out to him last night, and he absolutely laughed at Boise being a location for
Makes
a
no
potential
sense.
UFL team. He said, Pat, we don't even sell out Boise State football games. So what makes you think that this all of a sudden is going to turn on the people in spring football in the city of Boise? He goes, if it doesn't work in Birmingham, Alabama, what does anybody think that it would work in Boise? Now, I will say this. One of the cities that is rumored, Columbus, Ohio.
That's a great fit.
I think that's an outstanding idea because you play it in their MLS stadium, the Columbus Crew, which seats around 20,000, which would be very similar to DC United, their stadium that the UFL team plays in. That makes sense to me. Going to Orlando and Tampa in the springtime, they tried that in the XFL. I'm talking about before the USFL and the XFL merged. The Tampa franchise was horrible. I mean, they were as bad in attendance as Houston and Memphis. And there's so much other stuff going on in the Florida Peninsula of Orlando, Tampa, that I-4 corridor. How many people really want to go watch football?
They can't support a Major League Baseball team.
Mm-mm.
Like, they can't support their professionals. I mean, the Orlando Magic don't. They're not killing it in attendance.
Mm-mm.
So I do believe that this is a fluid situation for Birmingham. Do I think it's a done deal that Birmingham is done and they're moving? The answer to that, based on the people that I talked to, is no. Do I believe that this story does have legs? Yes. I do believe that things are being looked at. I threw this out to you guys in the office. Could this be a situation where the UFL's parent company or whoever's making the decisions that they want a better stadium deal in Birmingham? Maybe they feel like they pay too much money for Protective Stadium from a rental standpoint. What if
It's a leverage play.
Yeah. What if they say, well, we're going to float Birmingham out there because we want better terms of our agreement in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And let's see how bad Birmingham wants that team. And then that comes down to the BJCC. Are they willing to cut a better deal? Now, it might not be the case. I'm just throwing out potential scenarios of why Birmingham is on that list or not on the list, because losing the number one UFL TV market makes absolutely zero sense. None.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, it's on a much smaller scale, obviously, than what you see with like college football. But imagine if, hey, we're going to black out Alabama and Auburn games in Birmingham, or we're going to block out whatever the big the big college football game of the week is in Birmingham. It doesn't even matter if it's an SEC game. It could be Oregon and Penn State. Birmingham's going to draw massive numbers for that. It just doesn't make any sense why. And we have heard for years, have we not, Pat, that at the end of the day, that's what they care about. That's how they determine if this is a successful product, is what the television ratings are. And so you're going to take a program out of Birmingham that's the number one TV market and go put them in Boise, where you think they're ever going to draw 10,000. You might not be happy with the 10,000 you're getting in Birmingham. You think you're going to get half of that in Boise?
But at least you have people watching.
Exactly. It just,
I mean, you could go to television advertisers and say, hey, look, Birmingham, Alabama, you're able to reach this audience every single weekend when the Stallions tee it up to play. You can't say that about the other franchises. Now, St. Louis, best of both worlds. They have the TV ratings, they're number 2. They have the stadium. That's indoors, by the way. The month of May was on record the wettest and nastiest month we've had in the history of Birmingham keeping weather records. And 2 of the 5 home games, we were under severe weather watches, flash flood advisories. Nobody's going out to a stadium, open air stadium for that. I don't care if it's football, baseball, doesn't matter. They're not going.
No, and I mean, not to make excuses, but you had an 11 a.m. kickoff on, what was that, Sunday that was Mother's Day, so you're competing with both Mother's Day and church. You throw in the 2 again, we're not making excuses necessarily, but let's paint the entire picture.
Yeah, it was not conducive for the audience, and whether you're in Birmingham, Alabama, or Detroit, Michigan, to show up at a football game at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning, which happens to be Mother's Day. But anyway, that's what we know. It's a fluid situation. That's what I can tell you. If we find out anything further based on this reporting last night that Birmingham is on the chopping block and will be relocated in the UFL, we'd love to hear from you on the text line, 205-834-9450, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. We'll get your take on this report. Does it matter? Are you furious? Would you, if you have not attended a game, would you go now if it's guaranteed that they're coming back? Just love to hear where you are as a market, as a state. Does it matter to you whether the Stallions stay or go? Because at the end of the day, that might ultimately decide what happens with this franchise. That next on 3-Man Front on this Wednesday on Jox. 1-800-239-WJOX, the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. Before we get to your calls and your texts about what's going on with the Birmingham Stallions, Tommy Castellanos, it is media day for him and the Florida State Seminoles, and he was asked about his earlier proclamation earlier this summer that Alabama does not have Nick Saban to save them, and he does not see the tide stopping me. Talking about Tommy Castellanos. This is a direct quote of what he said at ACC Media Days. I stand on what I said. Well, we stand on what I said. I said what I said. We stand on that. I don't mean no disrespect to none of those guys on Alabama or anything like that. I have confidence in my guys and the work we've put in to be prepared and the preparation we've been putting in together. That's all it was. No disrespect to those guys, but we stand on what I said. End of quote.
Well, I mean,
do you forgive him?
You forgive, but you never forget, Pat. I mean, look, I don't. It's whatever, right? That's what you expect. It's football. People are gonna talk.
But it was kind of
smack.
like a half apology, right?
He's walking it back just a little bit, but I
then
mean,
he came back and said like 4 times, "I stand by what I said."
I was about to say you can't. I think he realizes that he maybe overspoke a little bit on that one, and it got taken out of. He didn't mean for it to become as big of a deal as it did. But, I mean, you got to stand on what you said because otherwise, your teammates are going to look at you like, man, why are you talking smack and now you're walking it back? But I was telling you a second ago on the break, if you haven't seen it, you can go find it on social media. But there was a video that circulated last week of Castellanos and Cam Ward and Isaiah Horton all working out. And he certainly seemed to walk back his comments in that video when he was face-to-face with not only Cam Ward, but the new Alabama receiver and Isaiah Horton. And essentially, hey, those guys won 2 games last year. I got to say whatever I can to motivate the bunch. So that is your quarterback who, again, this is for FSU Dave, but we did our quarterback tiers yesterday from The Athletic. And according to The Athletic, he would be ranked as the worst quarterback in the SEC.
That's correct.
So
he'd be ranked 17th.
That is correct. Behind old Zach Calzada.
Mm-hmm. All right, to the phones we go. Get things started on this Wednesday, 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Don Don. He's a proud member of the Horsemen. Hey, Don Don.
Hey, my buddy. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you? How did you react last night when you saw that story?
Well, no, I didn't find out till this morning, Pat,
Okay.
on Conrad and Damien's show. And yeah, aren't you guys sick of this stuff? I mean, this is why nobody goes to the games, Pat. Birmingham. This is as you know, this is the longest running one we've had.
Correct.
We've had in the 4 years and everything. It's been very enjoyable going to the games, but I'm about me and Boomer and the rest of the Horsemen. We're sick of this. Okay, now I know you are too.
Well, I've covered a few of these teams. Matter of fact, every single one of them. The only one that I did not cover in my career was the original Birmingham Stallions. I was a little bit too young for that, but I have been here for the Fire. I've been here for the Cudas. I've been here for the
Iron,
the Thunderbolts, the Iron, the resurrection of the Stallions. So I've been to them all.
Yes, sir. As you know, and I've told you this, I go all the way back to Birmingham Americans in '73 and everything. And to me, that's the most successful team we've had. But I don't think I believe this, Pat. I just think this is hearsay. Yeah, hey Pat, buddy, I'm having some car problems and everything. I probably need to let y'all go, buddy. But thank you for letting me call in today, Pat.
No problem, Don Don. Hope the car goes well.
Hope he doesn't need to change a tire. I can't help him with that.
Yeah, you can't.
Maybe some other things I could help him with, but not the tire.
205-834-9450. Let's go to the Courtesy GMC text line. Many of you are chiming in on the Stallions.
Yes, a lot of you are. Sorry, I was getting cussed out in Russian again by Dave on the text line, just like yesterday. So glad he caught my little comment.
That was a beautiful moment when he cussed you out in Russian.
It was a first, to say the least. So yeah, a lot of you chiming in with your thoughts on the Stallions report. So Collins from Pell City will start there. He says, if they move the Stallions, I will be an active anti-viewer of the UFL. If a game is on at a bar or restaurant, I'm definitely asking them to turn it off. I think there's probably a lot of people that can relate to that sentiment there. Josh says, no one in Birmingham is going to care about the Stallions if they leave. It's not like we're going to follow them wherever they go. I don't think that's the case. And again, if that's what the UFL is banking on, is this Birmingham market's going to follow their team and watch them wherever they are. I mean, sure, some people will, but I don't think that's going to work out the way that they maybe think that is, if that's their plan. Let's see. Posey chimes in. He says, do you guys think in any way that this report could be thrown out there in order to get more eyes on the product and help boost attendance for next year? Essentially, if you don't attend the games next year, we're going to take Birmingham away.
Listen, whether this story came out last night or not, I think goes without saying. Moose Johnson, 2 years ago, he was on our program, 3 years, I'm sorry. 3 years ago, Moose Johnson was on this program every single week. And he was not shy talking about how disappointing it was around the league that the attendance had not picked up, including Birmingham, especially how good Birmingham was as a football team. And you heard Skip Holtz the last 2 years, every single week on this radio show. He's X's and O's. He's not in charge of promotions or marketing. And we've told you this before. The UFL has done a horrible job marketing their product in the markets in which they have teams. Awful. Zero. Like, if you're taking a marketing class in college,
look at that as an example of what not to do.
Absolutely.
I don't disagree.
I mean, it's terrible. And it's interesting because, Molly, you were an intern for the original USFL, correct?
I sure was.
And
first year.
And you saw how much marketing and all the things that they did behind the scenes. It was light years ahead of what the UFL's doing now.
I mean, it was just different back then, though, because it still kind of felt like a test run of the league.
That's when all the teams were in Birmingham, right?
Right. That was when everybody was in Birmingham. And, you would have a decent crowd at Stallions games, but if the Stallions weren't playing.
But I'm talking about from a marketing standpoint.
I did not see the marketing side. I was purely just the broadcast, operations side. So I did not see any of that.
They definitely, I remember that it was an active push
and that was
of
also,
that product of they made sure you knew when the games were going on, what was going on around the Stallions, and you don't really get that.
And that was also, was that Fox and NBC?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was technically a Fox intern during that.
Yeah. Yeah, I echo everything you just said there, Pat. And again, we love the Stallions. We love the product. We love
if you
what
didn't
they
hear
bring
it on
to
this radio
Birmingham.
show, how many people would know what was going on with the Stallions?
Exactly.
Zero.
That is very, very true. Another text rolling in says the Stallions need to move away from Birmingham and go to the Hoover Met instead. I think that might help with attendance. I think what you have just the setup that you have in Protective with the options around there for eating.
Yeah, one of the things that I read in one of those stories last night, and I called complete BS on it, is the story said that the league was not happy with Protective Stadium. Well, the only thing that you could be upset about Protective Stadium is whatever you're paying to rent it. Because are you kidding me?
It's a great venue.
The sight lines, the locker room, the playing conditions, the scoreboard, the suites, everything involved. I mean, come on. Like, whoever wrote that was lazy journalism. I mean, it wasn't even a real take.
Jimmy chimes in. I bet the league makes plenty of money. It's just they aren't making 1,000% profit. Anything less than that, and they just don't want to do business. Chimes in. The original USFL had a territorial draft. How many more people would attend Birmingham games if you had an AJ McCarron, a Talia Tungavailoa, a Jake Coker, or a Sammy Coates on the team? It wouldn't hurt.
Great point.
We had Bo Scarborough was on and Trent Richardson was on the
But it goes
iron,
back to
right?
marketing. Because if you got those guys on the team, but you don't market the team.
Yeah, who's going to know?
And you don't, and literally every single franchise, you're based in Arlington, Texas. And you fly into the city in which you're playing a game. So there is no equity in the market. I mean, Scooby Wright last night, the outstanding linebacker who played for Birmingham for a couple of years. And, of course, he got injured and his career was ended early. But he was on social media last night talking about how much he loved living in Birmingham and how much Birmingham meant to him.
Said it was the best part of his football career was when he was here in Birmingham.
Absolutely.
But he was part of the group that got to actually live here
Yes.
and be a part of that community. And he saw how important and how special that was.
We will continue with your text messages. Coming up at 10:45, we'll talk to Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider. We'll also go to ACC Football Media Days. Tommy Castellanos has already spoken to the media this morning. And we'll get into some of the loudmouths from the Big Ten yesterday. They were running their mouth, beating their chest. Even a guy from Bloomington, Indiana, which was beyond foolish. All that straight ahead on this three-man front on Jox. Welcome back to Three Man Front on Jox on this Wednesday. 1-800-239-WJOX. The Courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. Number of topics that we have started the program talking about the report last night that the Birmingham Stallions could potentially be relocated out of Birmingham. That's been a hot topic on the text line. We welcome that at 205-834-9450. Also, ACC Football Media Days is going on. Tommy Castellanos will have some audio for you in just a couple minutes in regards to what he said, not really taking back what he said against Alabama, kind of clarifying it just a little bit. Also, we'll get into a lot of Big Ten coaches, Conrad, running their mouths yesterday.
Oh, and there's one in particular. Got a little bone to pick, but it's hey, it's all right. It's talking season still, right? This is what you expect from the other conferences taking their shots at the SEC. But we've got plenty of time to get into all of that because I know a lot of you still chiming in with your thoughts on the Stallions. If you're just now joining us, there were reports circulating last night that the Birmingham Stallions would be relocated to a different location along with 3 other organizations from the UFL. Nothing has been made official, Pat. There's no official ruling from the UFL directly, just reports going around. But based on what you have heard and people that you've talked to, it seems like the report certainly has some legs to it, but that nothing is finalized right now as it relates to the Birmingham Stallions. But a lot of you chiming in with your thoughts, like Nick from Prattville here, who says, if they're going to relocate the Stallions, then they better be reimbursing me for the money I just paid for my 2026 season ticket renewal. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are probably in that same boat.
Yeah, I do know a few people that purchased season tickets and have been season ticket holders from day one. And I communicated with an individual this morning that has season tickets, and they told me that their ticket rep was let go Friday by the Birmingham Stallions.
That's certainly
so. I'm not really sure
interesting.
Exactly what that means. Yeah. If the churn rate is high in that sales department, I don't know, but I do find that kind of interesting how an individual that was in charge of selling season tickets for the franchise was, for whatever reason, was let go on Friday.
At the very least, it's an interesting coincidence, to say the least. We have, let's see, another text coming in. It says, I don't know if the TV ratings in Birmingham have a whole lot to do with the Stallions, but I do know that Birmingham per capita is one of the largest gambling areas in the country for all kinds of football.
That is correct. Had an FBI agent tell me, and Paul Feinbaum, matter of fact, we had him on the radio show, and he said now, this was before the Supreme Court ruled and made it legal in the United States to bet on sports outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. That FBI agent told me and Paul that outside of Las Vegas, Birmingham, Alabama, was the largest sports gambling community in the world.
See, another text rolling in. Mario in Birmingham. Let's see. He said, I've called about this before, but I would be absolutely devastated if the Stallions were to be relocated. It's more than just a football game for a lot of us. It's honestly good times with friends and family and people that you may not see as often as you would like throughout the entire year. My grandfather actually had the chance to witness the original Stallions team, so taking him to Protective to watch this new era of Birmingham Stallions is just a good memory for me and him. I enjoy getting him out of the house, and I really wish that more people would come to the games because it's a really, really great time.
Well, once before when we've had these leagues, everybody complained about Legion Field. I'm not taking my family to Legion Field. Place is a dump. No good places to park. There's no restaurants around the stadium. I'm not going. I'm not going to participate. And that's been the most frustrating part of the last couple of years is the city of Birmingham built a first-class venue. You have a wonderful hotel. You have plenty of eating establishments that you can go to and hang out. Parking is not a problem. So what's the excuse why people have not attended the games?
It's a great question, Pat.
And ultimately, that may be the deciding factor of why we don't have a team here anymore. I'm not really sure, because it's either one way or another. Either you want the television ratings, which you told everybody when this first started that was the most important aspect, or now you're going to flip it and you decide that you're going to put a team in Tampa or Orlando or Boise, Idaho, and you think that you're going to draw both attendance and TV eyeballs. I think if you're an advertiser, you want the people watching the game as opposed to attending the game. But
yes,
I'm an idiot. What do I know?
That's right, Pat. What do you know? Quickly, do want to give a birthday shout out to our friend PG. Got to see him. Good to see him yesterday at Social
Happy
Taco.
birthday,
Oh, happy
PG.
birthday.
Happy birthday to our good friend Pelham Gator, longtime listener here to Jox. Back to the Stallions, though. Brandon chimes in. He says, I still think that spring football needs to be a top-tier arena league in order to have success.
Well, we also talked about the fact that they needed to change the calendar. They needed to push it farther away from the Super Bowl.
Yes, where you have a
I
little bit
agree.
of time to miss football before
Correct.
Mhm.
the season.
Before you get right into the rat race of another football season.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, see, you have some people. See, it says like both of y'all are saying you're not making excuses for the Stallions, but that's exactly what you're doing. The USFL is bad football and should have been gone long ago. Well, you're entitled to have that opinion if you so choose. Brant chimes in. He says, this is exactly why I struggled to get involved with the spring football league, because I knew something like this would happen and I didn't want something that I started to love get torn away from me.
Well, and Don brought it up earlier, and it was a good point. I mean, how many times has Birmingham had the rug pulled out from underneath them with the spring leagues? There's a reason why they keep coming to Birmingham, because they see the television ratings. 72 of the most watched top 100 programs in American television last year was National Football League games.
Mhm.
People love to watch football. And then when you combo that with Birmingham, Alabama, that is the number one college football market, and now the number one UFL television market, it seems like that's a really good marriage.
I certainly agree with that. We'll wrap up with this one for now. Y'all keep sending them in. We will get to all of your texts later on in the program. But Conrad Van Chaos chimes in, and this is something you had brought up earlier, Pat, that the 4 teams that are, I guess, have the potential to be relocated are the USFL teams that came over and joined the UFL in the merger. And Conrad Van Chaos says the merger ruined the league. Taking on the XFL's failure in debt has ruined the USFL, because those are the teams that are certainly seeming to suffer right now, not the XFL teams.
Also, Fox 6 here in Birmingham, WBRC Television, is reporting that the USFL Kids Clinic today at Legion Field is scheduled. It will go off as scheduled, and that Skip Holtz is expected to speak with the media at 4:30 today. So the Kids Clinic is a go. And Skip Holtz is expected to speak with the media at 4:30. That is from Channel 6, the Fox affiliate here in Birmingham.
That is certainly interesting. And quickly, I'll add this last text in too, because you just mentioned this. But somebody else texted in and said, "Hey, I have a friend that worked for the Stallions. He got let go last week as well."
See?
Oh no.
So that's 2 that we know of so far.
We will get the Vegas side of things in the Southeastern Conference from our main guy from Vegas Insider, MajorWager.com. Bryant Edwards joins the program next. This is 3-Man Front. We'll talk to our main man from Vegas, Brian Edwards, momentarily. Want to remind everybody about Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4443. Your trusted local experts in fast, affordable, and professional tree removal, trimming, and cleanup, licensed, insured, ready to handle any job, big or small. Need to call Golston Tree Service today, 205-337-4443. Golston also offers 24-hour emergency tree service. So when it comes to your trees, don't risk it. Call Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4443. Higginbotham Hotline is where we'll find Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider, MajorWager.com. Joins us every Wednesday on this program. Brian, I hope you are doing well on this hot, steamy Wednesday. Let's talk about the SEC football media poll. Were you shocked that your Gators found itself not in the top 4 teams? What did you think about the old media poll?
I thought that it was pretty solid. I thought they were a little too bullish on South Carolina, who they have 5. I have South Carolina 10. We don't really have that many big discrepancies other than that. I mean, I think there were a couple that were too off. Like I have Oklahoma 8. They have Oklahoma 10. You want me to just give you my top
Absolutely.
16 there?
Absolutely. Go for it.
I was tempted to go LSU 1 just to be a lot different, but I did not do that. I went UGA 1, Texas 2, LSU 3, Bama 4, Florida 5, A&M 6, Ole Miss 7, Oklahoma 8, but that's more like if you look at Oklahoma's schedule, I mean, I've got them going 7-5, but like I would make them favored on a neutral field over Tennessee and South Carolina. Tennessee and South Carolina may end up with better records. Auburn may end up with a better record. Anyway, I got Oklahoma 8, Tennessee 9, South Carolina 10, Auburn 11, Mizzou 12. Mizzou could end up a lot higher than that if Prabula, the quarterback from Penn State, is really good. And Mizzou could start 5-0 and have an open date in 2 weeks to prepare for Alabama. They've got a really friendly September schedule. Now, it does include a home game to South Carolina, and Kansas week 2 won't be a layup. But anyway, Mizzou, I'm not married to my preseason opinion. If Prabula is really good, I think they'll be a lot better than 12. I've got Vandy 13, Arkansas 14, Kentucky 15, Mississippi State 16.
All right. Well, that's pretty solid in regards to the way we voted across the way in Atlanta, Georgia. But overall, do you think that's a good spot where Florida is in regards to maybe using that as a little bit of motivation for this upcoming season?
Sure. Yeah. 6 is where the media had them. I've got them 5. Yeah. No, that's respectful, but not, not in love with, if you will. Like they seem to be in love with Lenora Sellers and not DJ Lagway. So yeah, sure. If they want to use that as motivation, great. But I mean, look, they've been in the bottom 5 or 6 here for 3 years now. So it's still a very elevated opinion compared to the dismal Billy Napier era.
Well, so you just kind of hit on it there, Brian, but I did want to ask you, because we heard from an Orlando radio host yesterday who was flabbergasted that DJ Lagway didn't make first, second, or third team all SEC in the media vote. Did you feel disrespected by DJ Lagway being left out for Lenora Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, and Arch Manning?
Not at all. Lagway's stats were not very good last year, and but the key stat to me was 6-1 as a starter, and the only loss when he left the game against Georgia, Florida was ahead 10-3 and had the ball late in the second quarter. That's the key stat. But he was only 12-9 TDINT. But I mean, remember now, they thought it was a season-ending injury the first few days against Georgia, but he was back on the field against LSU 14 days later, leading that win. And his arm talent, that he passes the eye test easily. But his stats weren't that great. So, no, I mean, I'm fine with him not being in the top 3 preseason All-SEC. I think if he's healthy for, 13 games or more, that I think he will be a first, second, or third team All-SEC quarterback. But he's got to stay healthy. and maybe that the question marks with not throwing in the spring probably factored into it a little bit, which is understandable. But I mean, like I heard it out of his mouth last week that he's ready to go. So I'm gonna take him at his word. And anyway, that's why I'm predicting good things for Florida.
All right, so quickly, I wanted to pivot to the Heisman Trophy odds. I'm sitting here looking at something that is on FanDuel right now, where Arch Manning is plus 700, Garrett Nussmeier plus 800, Cade Klubnik at Clemson plus 900, Jeremiah Smith comes in with the next best odds at plus 1,300. Have you made a play yet for the Heisman Trophy in regards to laying something down on any of those players? And if not, who are you leaning towards?
Yeah, I've made 3 bets. I took Lagway at 1 unit at 18-1. But wow, his odds keep getting longer at FanDuel. He was 19-1 last week. He's 20-1 now. And then I put 0.2 units on Sawyer Robertson, Baylor's quarterback,
right,
who is at 80-1 at DraftKings, or at least he was last week. And Robertson, I think a lot of people forget, that was Mike Leach's guy in the, QB of the future at Mississippi State when Leach tragically passed away. Now, he struggled his first year at Baylor in 2023, but last year he had a breakout year, 28-8 TDI and T ratio. He's got his top 2 receivers back and this tight end, Michael Trigg, formerly of Ole Miss, who was second team All Big 12 last year. He's got 2 stud running backs, and Baylor's Phil Steele's national unit rankings have Baylor 12th at quarterback, 19th running back, 21 receiver, 23 at line. They averaged 34.4 points per game last year, and they've got 9 starters back on offense. So I went Robertson, and I think they have a chance at a big year. And then I went 0.2 units on Haynes King of Georgia Tech, who's got a couple of showcase games early. If they can upset Clemson in week 3 and they can win at Colorado on Friday night in prime time,
right,
I'm pretty sure that's ABC game, he can be in the conversation there early. And then he's got the late regular season game against Georgia. He lit Georgia up last year.
Hey,
so
Brian,
some showcase games. Yep.
Listen, hate to run, but always appreciate your time. We'll have a little bit more time next week to kind of dive into some more stuff. Thank you.
All good, fellas. Y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you. Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of Three-Man Front on Jox. Pat, Conrad, Molly. Landrum will be back with us tomorrow off of his vacation. So much to get into over the next 3 hours. We've been spending a great deal of time taking your calls and texts about the potential situation that has been developing with the UFL's Birmingham Stallions. There were online reports last night that indicated the Stallions will be relocated along with Memphis, Michigan, and Houston. The UFL sent out a statement saying the league office is in the planning stages for next season and beyond. At this point, we have nothing to report on any unauthorized speculation. Fox 6 here in Birmingham, they are reporting that the kids clinic, which is free and open to the public this afternoon at Legion Field, that is scheduled to go off without a hitch. And that Skip Holtz, who told us Monday that he would be in town at the clinic, he will address the media at 4:30 today. He told us on Monday on this program that there had been no indications to him whatsoever that Birmingham would not field a team here at Protective Stadium next season. So we'll see how this plays out. We've got ACC Media Days, day number 2 in Charlotte. We will go there in about an hour from now from Scott Hamilton from the Charleston Post-Courier. We'll get his feelings on what he has heard over the last 24 hours from Jim Phillips and the rest of the players. And speaking of the players, Tommy Castellanos, just about an hour or so ago, he had an opportunity to meet with the media. And he was asked whether he wanted to do anything differently or walk back those comments that he said about the University of Alabama.
I stand on what I said. Well, we stand on what I said. So I said what I said. We stand on that. And I don't mean no disrespect to none of those guys at Alabama or anything like that. It's just I have confidence in my guys and the work that we've been putting in and preparing and the preparation we've been putting together. So that's all that was. No disrespect to those guys, but we stand on what I said.
There you go. So he kind of was walking it back, and then once he took 3 steps back, he then took 2 steps forward.
What's the saying, Pat? Lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Hey, I get it. He's trying to motivate his guys. He wants to make them believe that they are capable of having a much better season than last year when they won 2 games, and I applaud him for doing that. He's the quarterback. That's exactly what he should do, and it will be settled on the field on August 30th.
So what was the famous quote from Will Smith towards Chris Rock when he walked up and he slapped him?
When he slapped
Keep
him?
your wife's name out your mouth.
Yes.
There was a couple other filler words too.
Yeah.
Yes. But that was the gist.
Yes.
I started getting that feeling yesterday listening to all these coaches in the ACC and the Big Ten. Why do they keep talking about the SEC? Why are we keeping all these coaches up late at night? Why are they worried about what the Southeastern Conference is doing?
Well, and they're answering questions, and then the back half of the questions, they're sliding in the jabs.
I don't understand.
It's pretty comical.
Like, why do you feel like you need to? What was the quote again that he had against Chris Rock? What was it? Keep my wife's name.
Keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
Yeah.
With some other.
Yeah.
So keep our conference out of your mouth, Kirk Cignetti and Rhett Lashley. So yesterday,
They let their hair down.
Kurt Cignetti, who has caught a lot of grief lately because they had a series with the University of Virginia canceled. And so he was asked about scheduling in that model in the Big Ten, and he could not resist. This is what Kurt Cignetti said yesterday.
Here's the bottom line, okay? We picked up an extra home game, and we play 9 conference games. You know, the 2 best conferences in college football, any football guy that's objective will tell you, is the Big Ten and the SEC, all right? 12 of the 16 SEC teams play 3 G5 or an FCS game. 12 of those teams play 36 games, 29 G5 games, and 7 FCS games, and 1 less conference game, all right? So we figured we'd just adopt SEC scheduling philosophy. You know, some people don't like it. I'm more focused in on those 9 conference games.
You know, if there's any program in America that has the right to critique the SEC, it's Indiana. With
You're
its
right.
rich history of 4-win seasons, occasional bowl eligibility celebrations. I mean, seriously.
Would you like to know what their non-conference schedule is this year, Pat?
Is it Eastern Illinois, Indiana State? Who else?
It is Old Dominion, Indiana State. You got that one right. And Kennesaw State.
Oh, Kennesaw State. Yeah, the behemoth that is Kennesaw State.
Arguably the worst program. Granted, they just moved up to FBS a couple years ago, but arguably the worst program in FBS football. Yeah.
All right, so he was defending his lackadaisical schedule, which is fine, and he wants to throw shade at the SEC. Well, he went on a podcast on CBS Sports Network, and they asked him, hey, Coach, were you starting to get nervous towards the back end of the season that potentially Indiana, because Indiana is not an SEC brand, were you worried, Coach, that you may not make the college football playoff?
No, I wasn't. Not after the Purdue game. I did get a little nervous after we lost to Ohio State. And then subsequently the SEC teams went down later in the day because I could feel the tidal wave coming from the South and major networks that cover the SEC.
Sure.
Yes. Like, where'd this come from? I thought we were a feel-good story. All of a sudden, we're the hunted enemy. When did that change? Is this just a bad dream?
Do we remember that last year Indiana did not play a ranked opponent in football until November 23rd, and they lost to that team by 23 points, and it wasn't close. And that was the only ranked team they played that year until the playoff, when they then again lost against the other ranked team that they played last year. Just throwing that out there.
And he says that about ESPN. Like, Fox does not prop up every Big Ten team that they possibly can. That Joel Klatt is not a paid mouthpiece for the Big Ten Conference. That's what's so ridiculous. Like, when you start throwing shade at ESPN.
It goes both ways.
I mean, it's laughable.
They support their product. Yeah. I get it. You made the playoff last year. You're feeling really good. You got momentum in your program. Like you said, Pat, that was the best season that Indiana football's ever had in the history of their program. That's great. And you can be happy about that, and you can be confident about what you're going to do on the field this upcoming year. But to insinuate that you're taking the SEC's way out of scheduling when you have LSU playing Clemson, and first off, I'll give credit. Ohio State's playing Texas, and Michigan's playing Oklahoma. Those are good games. Wisconsin's playing Alabama again. Those are good matchups. But you've got LSU playing Clemson. You got Florida playing Miami. You got Texas A&M and Arkansas are both playing Notre Dame. I mean, we can go down the list of all of these schools. Auburn's playing Baylor first game of the season. Like, you can go down the list, and outside of 2 or 3 schools in the SEC, they are challenging themselves, and a lot of them early on in a season with these marquee matchups that you just don't. You're not getting those in the Big Ten. Go look at their non-conference schedules. It's
most of the time they
embarrassing.
play the MAC. Most of the time.
Yes. A lot of Toledo's.
Yep. Well, one thing's for sure, the annoying nature of these Big Ten coaches running their mouth. That was our Twitter poll question today, Molly. Sorry, had to pick on your former conference.
It's okay. Still my alma mater conference, so.
Hey, Matt Rule had your back yesterday.
He did. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, he didn't open his mouth and insert his foot talking about the Southeastern Conference. He was too busy slamming Scott Frost.
He's allowed to do that, though.
I was about to say
that's okay.
Molly definitely advocates for that.
Yeah. But today we ask, which annoying Big Ten head coach would you be the most excited to see go winless in conference play? Gave you 4 options. We gave you Brett Bielema, Curt Cignetti, Ryan Day, or Lincoln Riley. And I've been watching the voting all morning, and it's pretty much gone back and forth between Sig and Ryan Day. But right now, Cignetti is winning with 37%, Ryan Day with 36%.
Wow, 37-36.
I hope Indiana doesn't win a game. I hope they go 0-12.
Meanwhile, Bielema and Lincoln Riley, they are tied, right?
They are tied. Mm-hmm.
See, and I told this to Pat this morning. Brett Bielema was the big winner yesterday, because if you're an SEC fan, you definitely have more hatred towards Curt Cignetti than Bart today.
Bielema, I watched his press conference yesterday, his breakout press conference, because it's one thing when they get on the big stage and they say stuff. Now, Cignetti, he went directly from the big stage and he attacked the SEC. But Bielema did it like off-site, like it was the scrum of reporters that cover the Fighting Illini from their websites. And he was, the talking point that he had a few weeks ago, in which I think it was on Pardon My Take, when he was on that podcast.
Yeah, it was him and Luke Altmaier were on there.
Yeah, where he basically was saying that this is not the Big Ten conference of 3 years ago. And it's interesting how he only went back 3 years. Because the last 2 years, the Big Ten has had the national champion.
Well, and that's been their narrative, right? Is
Yes.
recent success of college football, which, to be fair, they have won the last 2 national championships. All right, now let's go back the last 20 years and have this conversation.
Right. Exactly. Now, the Big Ten coaches weren't the only ones running their mouth yesterday. Rhett Lashley, who knows better? Rhett Lashley is a good Arkansas kid, grew up an Arkansas Razorback fan. He played for Gus Malzahn in high school in the state of Arkansas.
I did not know that.
Yep, he was a longtime assistant coach at Auburn. He knows SEC football just as much as anybody.
Yep.
And so what you're about to hear is a serious faux pas by Rhett Lashley trying to prove a point about how incredible the ACC is in football.
It really is every week. In the ACC, you can't have an off week or you're going to get leave. It doesn't matter if you're playing at Clemson, and it doesn't matter if you're playing whoever that last place team is at home. If you have an off week, if you play like we did in the playoff game, you're probably going to lose. You know, I mean, look at our Duke game. That was a miracle we won. We went out and turned it over 6 times. We should have lost. And that was a good team. And so it's just a week in, week out. That's the league you want to be in. That's where you want to be. I mean, you look at our league, we had like 4 10-win teams, 2 playoff teams, a handful of 9-win teams, 13 bowl teams. I mean, there's just not a lot of easy wins on the schedule. And there's other leagues that claim depth, but like the SEC's had the same 6 schools win the championship since 1964. Same 6. Not a single one has been different since 1964. It's top heavy to me. That's not depth.
All right. So let's do some basic math here. What is half of 6?
That'd be 3.
That would be the number of ACC programs that have won a national championship since 1964. That would be half the number of the SEC because Miami was a member of the Big East when they last won theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Pitt was not a member of the ACC when they won in the 70s. So you have Florida State, Clemson, and then Georgia Tech in 1990, I believe.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. It was a split national championship with Colorado.
Yes.
In 1990.
Those are your 3 programs that have won a national championship in the last 60 years.
You know who Georgia Tech beat to win the national championship in 1990?
Who?
Nebraska.
Oh.
Go Big Red. It's
Sorry.
okay. We won 3 after that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Doesn't matter.
Y'all ended up being,
We could have been 4.
Y'all ended up being okay.
Well, we still have 5 total, so that's okay.
Again, it's just if you want to prop up your own conference, I have no problem with that. We expect them to do that, right, Pat? But if you're going to do it, take 5 minutes to fact check yourself before you go and say things like that. Because if you're going to argue that the SEC is top heavy because only 6 schools have won a national championship in the last 60 years, what are you saying about your own conference that has only had 3 of those schools accomplish the same feat in the same amount of time?
Yeah, he says it's top heavy. It's not depth.
Man, that ACC schedule, you can lose any given week, right, Pat? Top to bottom.
Yeah, in front of about 25,000 people.
Okay.
Outside of about 3 schools that actually draw fans.
Hey,
that's what
just
happens,
like
man.
Signetti, you make a playoff, you feel good about yourself.
Absolutely. These guys get that playoff juice on them, and all of a sudden they're just, man, they got that liquid courage. All about it. Is SMU lined up to play a home and away with any SEC schools in the near future?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Like I said, they get their first taste of the CFP, and all of a sudden they are ready to rock.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited for their matchup with East Texas A&M. That's going to be must watch television this upcoming season, Pat.
Well, he did say each and every week. You never know who's going to win. So,
yeah. So they've got. So they are playing Baylor. That's their non-conference game.
Okay.
But they are
Good
playing
game.
East Texas A&M and Missouri State. Those are their other 2.
Well,
non-conference
Missouri
games.
State. Well, Missouri State's now an FBS school. They're a member of Conference USA. Them and Delaware are the newest members of the FBS.
Well, they do have to play Clemson and Miami, so hopefully they'll get to play 2 ranked games this year, and we'll see how they fare. But confidence, man,
It's there.
it's there. Yep.
For Signetti and Rhett Lashley. Water can find its way into any crawl space, bringing dangerous mold, mildew, and wood rot, but APS can protect your home's foundation, provide valuable storage space as well. Call them today at APS, 951 9717. The APS crawl space encapsulation system, it could stop the water, keep the pests out while lowering your energy costs. The engineers at APS will design a custom solution for your home. Simply go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. Call them again, the number 205 951 9717. We'll go to Charlotte. We'll hear what's going on in the ACC Media Days as Scott Hamilton will join us at the top of the hour. We will continue with your calls, your texts. This is Three Man Front on Jox. Eleven 19 on Jox. This is Three Man Front. Pat, Molly, Conrad. Landrum back with us tomorrow. We continue with your text messages. 205-834-9450 on the courtesy GMC text line. 1-800-239-WJOX is the phone number.
Well, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com.
Well, the Braves lose last night 9-0. We're 8 days away from the Major League Baseball trade deadline. They play this morning. Matter of fact, first pitch is about to get underway in Atlanta as they wrap up their homestand after the All-Star break. It was just an ugly game last night. San Francisco had a 4-run second inning that sent them on their way, propelled them to the victory against Atlanta. Matt Olson had 3 hits. Michael Harris, the second, added 2 for the Braves. But how about Braves utility player Luke Williams, Conrad? He pitched a perfect 9th inning with 1 strikeout. He has a 4.50 earned run average in 4 appearances. But it's Atlanta's 15th loss in their last 22 games, drops them 12 games under 500 after 100 games of the season. They are 44-56. Justin Verlander is pitching today for San Francisco. Verlander has an ERA of 4.99. His record this year is 0-8.
I was about to say he still doesn't have a win, I don't think.
Yee.
He is 0-8 with an ERA near 5. He is scheduled to pitch today against Spencer Strider, who is 4-7 with a 3.59 ERA.
And like half his age. Because I think Verlander's, 42 now?
About to say he's in his 40s.
Yeah, he's up there. Did you see?
And they just had another kid, did they not?
I don't know.
I think they did.
I'm sure he wants to have a bunch of kids. If I'm just being honest.
Wait. What does that mean?
We all know who his wife is. Come on. She's a supermodel. I'm just saying. Did you see where Rich Hill got called up again by the Cubs?
Yeah, he's like 90.
He's 45 years old.
Oh, he's 45. I thought he was 90.
He might as well be 90, but I was like, that's crazy. I didn't know he was still floating around the minor leagues.
I think he threw, 5 innings?
I forgot to look and see what he did, but yeah.
Played the Cubs. I think he threw 4 or 5 innings.
That's pretty cool, though, for a 45-year-old. Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, for the Braves, if you are keeping score at home, I think the average wild card spot in terms of how many wins you need to get in the National League over the last handful of years has been around 84. So you would need to go 40-22 the rest of the way if you
need to play 18 games 500.
Yep.
To make the playoffs.
If you're still,
based on that number.
If you're still like Landrum and holding on hope for.
I don't think he's holding on hope, but
I don't think he is either.
It was interesting because Dave from Hoover was there yesterday. And he's a big Braves fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him off the air, I said, hey, what would you do? If you're Anthopoulos, what would you do? He said, I would take calls on everybody.
Even Acuna.
Yeah. Because he made a great point about Acuna's contract. And with it coming up in a couple of years, do you sell high now?
It's that's why he gets paid the big bucks, Anthopoulos, right?
But I have read multiple so-called baseball insiders because this is my favorite time of the year. I love the trade deadline.
Oh, it's great.
It's fantastic. Even though my team will stub its toe, but that's fine. But I enjoy everybody else. The speculation is that the Braves, outside of probably trying to move Ozuna, and if they get overwhelmed by Murphy, that
Ozuna really seems like the only
that they will probably stand pretty pat.
And the writing's on the wall with that one, right? Because Snitker came out earlier this week and essentially said that Sean Murphy and Drake Baldwin are going to switch between DH and catcher, and Ozuna will play sparingly. Mm-hmm. So I think that kind of tells you where they are right there with them, but it's a shame. You win the first game against the Yankees. You start to think, okay, maybe this could end up being a good series. You had a lead in game 2. You end up losing that series. You beat the Giants first game the other night, and then you get shut out yesterday. So it's just been that kind of year for Atlanta, unfortunately.
Let's go back to Big Ten Media Days yesterday. He was not running his mouth about the Southeastern Conference, but Matt Rule always loves the microphone, always good for a soundbite. He was asked yesterday about the job in Lincoln and his former coach there in Lincoln, which was Scott Frost.
First of all, I have a ton of respect for Scott. And I've always been very empathetic for what he went through because, this was his home. If you guys fire me tomorrow, I'm just going to go back to Cape May and sit on the beach and go back to where I'm from. But, this was his home, right? And so, this offseason, we put up a huge picture of Scott as a player in the coach's area because I took a picture and I sent it to Ryan Callahan down there because I can't imagine, what that feels like for him, right? I know what it felt like to get run out of Carolina. And I would say to people, I don't think I took the right job for me. It wasn't the right fit. That doesn't mean it's a bad. No, I will say this. This was not a good job when I got here. We were behind on NIL. The facilities weren't what they were. Everything was behind. Trev convinced me, hey, Matt, this is going to, by the time we get to the point where we're going to be able to pay players, this is the only Big Ten school with no debt. We're going to, this, right now we're talking about 20.5. It's going to go up percentages every year. And we're at a place where we have the best facility in football. We have everything that we could want. We make more of an investment in nutrition than any other team in the country. Scott came at a time, he had COVID, he had all these different things. So I can't talk about his time. But what I can say was, this wasn't a good job. Yeah, it was not a good job. But we've made it a good job, and we're about to make it a great job. This will be one of the best jobs in the country. And, like, that's why sometimes recruits will say, like, Coach, if you win, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm gonna stay right here. Like, you know, the only thing I ever think about is getting a lake house in one of these lakes in Nebraska I keep hearing about.
Do you think Scott Frost appreciates them sending a picture of the portrait that they hung in the football offices of Scott Frost?
I guess it's a nice gesture. It's kind of weird, but it's a nice gesture. Matt Rule seems like a genuine guy, and I do think it's nice, right, that he meant a lot to that program as a player, and he accomplished a lot as a player, and you want to remember that regardless of what may have happened in his 10 years head coach. But I mean, my main takeaway from that is that, you know, Trev talked Matt Rule into everything that's so great about Nebraska, and then Trev decided to tuck tail and leave after that. It's a shame, Molly. Traitor, exactly. Stabbed him in the back.
I was unaware that Nebraska has the best football facilities in America. I did not know that.
They're beautiful. They're brand new.
But they're the best in college football.
I mean, I might be biased, but I think so.
I was unaware of that.
Do they have a corn garden?
He also went into some diatribe
about go west a little bit to find that.
About Nebraska, how every student athlete has a hot tub or a sauna. Did you hear that? Or he's talking about that?
I didn't get that.
Yeah. He was talking, were you considered a student athlete? I'm not being ugly. I'm just saying.
Like half, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
we were
just
under
like
athletics.
When
we just obviously were non-NCAA.
Were y'all scholarshiped?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I consider you an athlete.
Thanks, Pat.
That's like when Josh Rosen had
not
the hot
based
tub
on
in
the way
his
you
dorm
walk
room.
down the hallway, because I don't think you have an athletic bone in your body.
No, I literally do not have an
No, I was
athletic bone in
kidding.
my body. No,
I was kidding.
I actually don't. I fully admit that.
Dance is
No, you throw a football pretty good.
It's athleticism. You do throw a football. Yeah, you do.
I can't throw a baseball, though.
Oh, that's all right. We'll work on that. We'll get you ready for your first pitch at the Barons.
That's going to be so bad.
We're working on it. We'll work on it.
Which would you feel more comfortable, throwing out the first pitch or singing the national anthem?
Oh, first pitch.
Okay.
I do not sing at all.
Yeah, you couldn't pay me to sing a national anthem.
No.
And you can pay me to do a lot of things, as we know on this show. You cannot pay me to sing in public.
There's no question about that.
That's a good question. What would you rather do? Because I think most people would probably say the first pitch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's over quickly.
Exactly.
And you don't have to worry
and
about.
if you mess up, people kind of laugh
minutes.
about it. But then if you do a good job, it's
And like you're not gonna do worse than like 50 Cent or
right.
People have literally thrown it sideways before. So I mean,
exactly.
There's always somebody that did a worse job than you.
Artec Tractor in Jasper. That's where you need to go, just north of Jasper on Highway 5. Go to the website artectractor.com. When I decided that I needed to go ahead and make it happen in regards to getting me a zero-turn mower for my yard, I called Jeremy and Greg and the great guys up there at Artec Tractor. They said, okay, first thing we're going to do, you need to go to artectractor.com. Take a look at what interests you, and then we're going to tell you what you need for your particular land. I said, no problem. And so they pointed me in the right direction on a Toro zero turn. And whether it's a Toro, a Cub Cadet, Gravely, Bobcat, Spartan, residential like myself, or commercial grade, they have more brands and a better selection than the big box stores. I literally live less than 5 minutes from one of the biggest box stores in the country when it comes to home improvement. And you know what? I said, I'm not doing my business with them. I'm doing business with guys that every single day they talk to people and they're in the trenches in regards to what needs to happen if you're a homeowner and you need to get the very best. And that's what Jeremy and Greg do at Artec Tractor. Knowledgeable sales department. They're going to advise you about your purchase. The expert service department with years of experience. They can work all types of mowers and tractors, but more importantly, a large selection of used heavy equipment as well. So you don't need to go anywhere else. You need to go to Artec Tractor in Jasper, just north of Jasper, right there on Highway 5. More three-man front. Your text, your calls. We'll go to ACC Media Days at the top of the hour. This is Jox, three-man front. 11:33 here on Jox. This is three-man front. Pat, Molly, Conrad. Landrum back with us tomorrow. Phone lines are open, 1-800-239-WJOX. I've had a couple of text messages over the last 10 minutes or so asking for an update on the Birmingham Stallions. It's been one of the big stories that we've been talking about. And I can tell you that I feel pretty confident that as of right now, Birmingham, yes, it's being potentially discussed at the UFL headquarters, but there has been no decision. So I believe that report last night might have been a little bit premature, naming Birmingham as one of those cities that absolutely is going to be relocated. I do believe it's a fluid situation, but I have been told by someone that I trust very dearly that might be a little bit premature to say that Birmingham will not have a team. Doesn't mean that they're safe.
But don't lose hope.
But just don't lose hope. It's not like go ahead and mark it down as a done deal, so to speak. Back to the phones we go. Joe in Vestavia. How you doing, Joe? Hope you're well.
Hey, how are all of y'all doing?
We're doing fine. Now, Joe, you're interested. If I'm not mistaken, you own season tickets to the Stallions, correct?
Sure do. My family, we go way back all the way to the Americans and Vulcans.
Oh, wow. That's early 70s. Okay.
Yeah, that was my dad, and it was a great time at age 14 to bond with your father.
No doubt.
And that was different. The WFL and the original USFL were different because they were competitors to the NFL, and there were bankable known names. I mean, Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, Paul Warfield. Two of those guys were Hall of Famers, and the WFL had other guys like Calvin Hill.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know Calvin Hill, you know his son Grant.
Yep.
They had guys like Don Maynard who was a Hall of Famer trying to play the last year. And, of course, the original USFL had 3 Heisman Trophy winners, Jim Kelly, Steve Young, Reggie White, and a whole bunch of other names that you knew. So you throw those two out. When you start talking about developmental spring football, it is a different animal. The NFL had, the Fire, they did that. Do you remember how many were there for that first game at Legion Field that night, Pat?
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, I think it was, north of 40,000?
It's about 54,000.
Yeah, 54,000. Yeah.
And it was maybe the worst game of football I've ever seen.
That was the World League of American Football. Yep.
Hey, I'd say this past year the Stallions and Arlington game rivaled it.
Oh.
Out at Protective. It set the game of football back 100 years. I don't think developmental football, spring developmental football, it's not the same as any other kind of football. I think it's a very hard sell. You don't have any known names. It's not like the NFL where you've got tons of stars. And yes, there's a degree you go, if you're a Packers fan, you go because of the GB on the helmet, or, Detroit, the star in Dallas, you go, but you also go to see the best players. College football is a little different, major college football. You go because of the red jersey and helmet, or the AU on the helmet, or the Big T. Your team might be 4-8, but you still go. But it's not true. But beyond that, it's not true. If you look at in college football, who draws the most attendance? Who draws the biggest TV ratings? Isn't it the schools, the power conference schools?
Sure, absolutely.
It's not true for the MAC, the Mountain West, American Athletic, Sun Belt, Conference USA. They struggle to draw. I mean, who would it be? Boise State maybe is the only one of the few that of the group of 5, group of 6 that draws better than averages 30,000 a game.
Yes, I agree with that.
The biggest mistake I see is everybody thinks, well, the Stallions won 3 championships back to back to back. They should draw 30,000, 40,000. It doesn't work that way. And if you look at all the other spring football leagues since the World League of American Football in the early 90s, none of them have worked. They've all failed. And I'm not sure. The only reason I was even sort of excited about this one was when a whole television network got behind it, Fox Sports. Now, they don't know anything about running a football league. They know about the television side. And I would say now with the merger, Redbird Capital with Jerry Cardinal, who is probably, not only has he made more money than I can imagine, he's probably spent more money than I can imagine. He's involved in a number of things like the Yes Network, that does Yankees games. I think it's the Brooklyn Nets. They're into, I think, soccer, AC Milan. They may have an interest or a controlling interest in it. He doesn't know anything about running a football league. And I will even go so far to say I like Daryl Moose Johnston, and I've met Russ Brandon. I'm not sure they're the right guys either. I will throw a counter argument out to everybody. Everybody says Birmingham or whichever city fails the league. I say the league has failed the city.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Joe. I mean, listen, you have been a part of this Birmingham community in regards to, if I'm not mistaken, you and your wife go to Birmingham Squadron games, your work at Rickwood Field with the Birmingham Barons and the Black Barons and all the other local root causes for sports goes without saying. You put your money where your mouth is, you and your wife do, and for you to make that type of statement, you have hit the nail on the head because the UFL, now the USFL before the merger, they spent money in the market. They did things to try to market the product, but then once the XFL and the USFL merged, it became a completely, let's fly in here on game day and let's hope that people show up. And oh, by the way, why aren't people showing up? Because half the population didn't know when the kickoff was. Or let's schedule a game on Mother's Day, Sunday morning at 11 a.m. in the Bible Belt. That's not going to go very well because they didn't have any boots on the ground in Birmingham to tell them that's a bad idea. You don't need to do that. There's been no local marketing.
Putting a large football down 280 or on 119 in Shelby County and another large football in Trustful saying buy season tickets is not marketing. Putting up essentially a yard sign like your realtors do along Highway 31 in Vestavia and saying pack protected playoff game Sunday, whatever date it was, June 6th, June 8th, I don't remember. That's not marketing. I'm sorry. That's just not going to cut it.
No, it's not. And that was one of the biggest complaints that we'd get on this radio show. People would text us all the time and they would say, you know what, thank you, because if it wasn't for you guys to tell us when the kickoffs were.
Wouldn't know what's going on.
Yeah, and thank you for having Skip Holtz as a weekly guest to talk football and X's and O's because they need that. You need that equity in the local market because keep in mind the original plan for the USFL and then once the merger took place is that they wanted to have local ownership. And I knew a group of people here in Birmingham that was ready to step up from a financial point of view and own the local franchise. Birmingham was willing to become the first UFL franchise to be locally owned and operated, not by the league. And obviously once the merger takeover between the XFL and the USFL took place, then all of those plans were put on the back burner. And that has gone extremely cold over the last 12 months.
Did they even thank them for their interest in the Stallions in the league?
I'm not really sure. I just know that there was a group of prominent people in the city of Birmingham, and I am not going to disclose those names of those people because some of them are friends of mine and they would prefer that would not be public knowledge because they ultimately would like one day to potentially own a UFL franchise in Birmingham, but until that day comes, so they don't want to say anything that would potentially torpedo that idea. But these are names that you would recognize in the Birmingham business community and athletic community that was willing to put their money where their mouth is and become local owners of the Birmingham Stallions. And for whatever reason, that just has never come to fruition from a league standpoint, not from a local standpoint.
Yeah. The other thing I see commonly on social media is for some reason this business is viewed differently. it's no different than the dry cleaners, the restaurant down the road, or the grocery store. There is no civic duty or obligation to support it. You pick how you choose to spend your dollars. The other thing I would say is it's easy for me or anyone to tell someone else how to spend their money. That's real easy. But I would tell the owners, Redbird Capital, you need to spend more on your marketing and promotion.
No doubt.
It's non-existent. If it was not for your interview on, what was it, Monday of Skip Holtz?
Correct.
I have no idea there was a kids clinic at Legion Field today. And, of course, some brain somewhere decided, hey, we'll pick a hot day in July to have that.
Oh, Joe, you make too much sense, man. Too much sense. Joe, we
Yeah.
always appreciate the call,
Thank
man. I hope to see you very soon. I hope to get you back out to Social Taco one day soon.
We'll be there maybe next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Joe. 1-800-239-WJOX. More of your calls, your texts. Top of the hour, go to the ACC Media Days in Charlotte. All that straight ahead on Jox. Top of the hour, we'll go to Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll get an update on what's going on at ACC Media Days. Big Ten Media Days will continue in Las Vegas, Nevada. So far today, Florida State, Georgia Tech. Those are two of the big names in Charlotte. Later today in Las Vegas, you'll have Oregon and the proverbial, it's weird to say this, but Penn State
the favorite
is the favorite to win the Big Ten Conference. They will be meeting with the media today. So that's going to be very interesting, to say the very least. Let's go back to the text line. I know many of you have chimed in on that. 205-834-9450.
Yeah, we have a lot of texts coming in, both about the ACC and Big Ten Media Days, the Stallions situation. Some of you even chiming in. We posed the question, would you rather throw out a first pitch at a baseball game or have to sing the national anthem before a sporting event? And some of you weighing in on that as well. So we'll start with Jimmy, who chimes in and says, regardless of what happens to the Stallions in the future, I hope that y'all can continue to have Skip Holtz on from time to time. He is incredibly knowledgeable and very open about football and the business side of the game.
Yeah, there's no question.
He's a great interview.
Skip Holtz, I did not know him very well until he came to Birmingham as the head coach of the Stallions, and he was unbelievably open and honest. And you can't say enough about coaches that want to be open and honest in regards to their communication, and that's exactly what Skip Holtz has been since day one.
Let's see, another text coming in. Someone says, I would do either one, national anthem or the first pitch, but I was the front man in a rock band, so that kind of
changes things up a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does. Someone says, you could never have a worse first pitch than Anthony Fauci. That wasn't a good one. That was not a good one. Someone else says, no team is playing worse in baseball than the Dodgers right now. The Dodgers are 3-11 in their last 14 games, swept twice by the Brewers. I would trade 10 of the Dodgers bullpen pitchers for 2 good closers. No cash needed. The pitching is atrocious for LA.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Mookie Betts was benched.
Was he?
I believe he was.
I missed that.
Now Shohei Ohtani
That's
continues
not a great sign.
to rake.
Well, yeah, he's going to continue to do that for the rest of his life. He's a special player. Let's see. Someone chimes in. They say technically half of the SEC has actually won a national championship, and that's just going back to 1998 when you throw in Tennessee, Auburn, LSU, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and now Texas and Oklahoma. So that's a fair point. But to be fair, we weren't including teams that are now a part of the ACC that weren't when they won a national championship. But yeah, that is, and that's just going back 27 years, not 61 like Rhett Lashley was wanting to do. Someone else says, Rosie O'Donnell set the bar pretty low for national anthems. I think we'd all be better than that. Tough to argue against that. Will chimes in. He says both of those blanks, referring to Rhett Lashley, who he says sounds like a bad WWE wrestler, and then Curt Cignetti. He says both of those blanks were clinching all the way down the stretch because they knew that any bubble SEC teams would have exposed them on national television and should have made the playoffs over them. Casey chimes in. Any reporter worth their salt should have instantly followed up with Lashley and said, so, Coach, which SEC school are you going to put on your schedule in the near future?
That would have been a great question.
Would have been a very good one. Let's see. FSU Dave chimes in, and he says, to Florida State's credit, we do have our home and home with Alabama, and after that, we have a 1-year break, and then we have signed up for a Georgia home and home. So Florida State, he's saying, doing their part of
and also,
those difficult non-conference games.
Like doing this I like FSU Dave, and I'm not being ornery. I'm giving you props here. You do play Florida every year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've never been critical of the likes of Clemson or Florida State because
they play SEC teams every year.
They play SEC teams every year as a, rivalry game. So
Brandon chimes in and says, I bet Lashley wouldn't trade a road trip to Wake Forest for one to Oxford, Mississippi or Fayetteville, Arkansas. No, I think I'd rather play Wake Forest than either of those programs right now, certainly. Let's see. Someone says, What is the head-to-head record for SEC against ACC in the last decade or so? I'll see if we can find that for you. Might take a minute to put that together, but we'll see what we can do.
I know the Big Ten, I think they were bragging, right, yesterday about their record against the SEC.
Yeah.
That might have been Bielema that was doing that.
I think it was the Big Ten. Let's see. It says Robert chimes in. I think this is supposed to say everybody but Ole Miss from the SEC is playing either 1 or 2 Power 4 non-conference games this year. Ole Miss was supposed to play USC this year, but the Trojans backed out of that one. I was about to say, because Georgia, they played Georgia Tech, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the whole conference.
Because I know a lot of because I guess Georgia was the one, I guess, out of the big boys in the SEC that you looked at and went, well, you play a non-conference game, but it's, scheduled every year. I
mean, you look at Bama. Bama's got Florida State, ULM, Wisconsin, and Eastern Illinois. Like, I don't have a problem with them playing Eastern Illinois. The reason why is because you're playing Florida State and Wisconsin.
Exactly.
I mean, you're saying, and you look at Arkansas. Arkansas's got Memphis and Notre Dame, not to mention the fact that they play a cross-state rival in Arkansas State, and yeah, they play Alabama A&M. I don't have a problem with their schedule. No. I don't have a problem with Auburn. Auburn's playing South Alabama, playing Baylor, and they're playing a MAC school.
And you're playing Baylor to start the season. You're not playing one of those cupcake games first week.
Yeah. And I know Florida is going to catch a lot of grief because they're playing Long Island first, the Sharks.
But you also play Miami and Florida State.
And South Florida.
And that's no joke.
That's,
That's no joke. Someone says, Kennesaw State is in the SEC footprint, so that should technically count for Indiana. That is true. That's a great text there. Y'all keep sending them in, 205-834-9450. Get you on the courtesy GMC text line. Many more texts for us to get throughout the show. You send them in, and we will read them.
We're going to get an update from ACC Media Days in Charlotte, North Carolina. Scott Hamilton from the Charleston Post-Courier joins us next. We'll begin hour number 3. We will hop around to different media days going on. The last 2 major Power 4. We've got the ACC happening in Charlotte, North Carolina. Meanwhile, we have the Big Ten, and yes, the Big Ten town of Las Vegas, Nevada, as day 2 rolls along for those guys. We've been following his story here locally, and I'll give you what I know up to the minute. But last night, there were online reports that the Birmingham Stallions would be relocated along with Memphis, Michigan, and Houston from the UFL. I was sent a statement last night from the UFL, which read the league office is in the planning stages for next season and beyond. At this point, we have nothing to report on any unauthorized speculation. So there has been a lot of speculation over the course of the last 14 to 16 hours about what the franchise, what it would look like. We had Skip Holtz on this program on Monday. I asked him point blank about the rumors out there about the team not being in Birmingham, and he said that he had heard nothing that would lead him to believe that the Stallions would not be back in Birmingham. As irony would have it, the UFL and the Stallions are having a free kids clinic this afternoon at Legion Field. All indications are that the clinic is a go. Skip Holtz will be in town and that he will speak with the media at 4:30. I've been told that this is a fluid situation, that it is not a so-called done deal, that Birmingham is going to lose the Stallions, but the league office is evaluating every markets and the potential reorganization in regards to the teams. So that's what I can tell you up to this moment. The ACC Media Days is going on in Charlotte, North Carolina. What a better person to go live, boots on the ground. He's probably been hanging out with, Jimbo Fisher, who's now an employee of the
That's
ACC
right.
network. And I'm referring to Scott Hamilton, outstanding columnist with the Charleston Post-Courier. He joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. Hey, Scott.
Listen, you've had me on this show many times, and I just have one observation, because I'm wondering when I get a host, because you've had the same few hosts now for a while, and that to me is a lack of depth. And I think, it really talks about the strength of other programs if you look at their depth. So I'm just throwing it out there.
All right, Rhett Lashley. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I know what you're doing. I know you're trying to kick the anthill over.
That was oh my God. That was maybe the most clownish thing I've heard in quite a while. I actually needed it. Because this event is a giant nothing burger until tomorrow when the circus gets here, man.
Well, it's interesting
here
because, we were in Atlanta last week, and our teammate Greg McElroy kind of created a little bit of buzz on Monday talking about Nick Saban may not be done coaching. So that kind of got everybody fired up for about 24 hours. Then after that, it kind of was one of those weeks in Atlanta. So it sounds like, unless tomorrow it's a big save with Bill Belichick and Dabo Swinney, it sounds like you guys are enjoying the same fun and frivolity we had in Atlanta.
Is it because that college football, specifically college football, has become a 365-day-a-year enterprise? I mean, could that be the reason? I mean, we're just so exhausted and depleted of storylines and narratives by the time we get to this week that when we actually come here to get storylines and narratives, the well is dry, man. The well is dry. The only thing I'm really looking for, look, I came primarily yesterday just for Jim Phillips, and we can talk about that if you want. I wanted to hear what he had to say. And then I'll be here tomorrow because Dabo will say something that'll be at least amusing. And I want to see Belichick go through a car wash. Will he do Radio Row? Will he take, the gaggle? How is he going to handle the podium for 30 minutes? That's why I'm here, okay? And they were smart to book him last. And the biggest winner of all this, other than the ACC, because they actually have something interesting now among the coaches, is that Dave Dorn is following Bill Belichick on the stage, and there's going to be like 4 people in there. One of them will be like his wife.
Yeah, that'll be the big question, Scott. You'll have to let us know if Jordan is in attendance tomorrow when Bill Belichick takes the podium. I have my money on she won't be in attendance, but I really, really hope that she will be at the end of the day. But you did bring up Jim Phillips. So just your quick takeaways, because we had some quotes, we had some clips from what he said yesterday, very complimentary of the College Football Playoff Committee. But kind of in a different position than the SEC and the Big Ten. So what were your takeaways from Jim Phillips and some of his comments about the college football playoff and those bigger topics in college football?
One, they're thumping their chest because they're third in the Power Four, even though it's a distant third. And two, he's still pretty naive. I mean, I would want him running my conference if it were like 1962, maybe even 1982. But his innocence, I think it's real. I do. I think it's real. I think this man has morals and values, and he's holding on with both hands to old school college athletics.
No,
you can't do that now, man. You cannot do it. Look at the Alliance.
No, you're right. Hey, Scott, I tell you what we're going to do is we're going to put you on hold. And Molly, if you will chat with Scott, and we're going to see if we can't get on a better line, the cell phone, as you can tell. And when you're in these hotels covering these media days, it's very tough. It was difficult for us to get a signal out at times from our location there.
Oh, and I mean, you have times, and I mean, shout out to the people in Atlanta that they had great IT people there, but I mean, you'll have the internet goes down, different connections go down because there's so many people in a small confined area trying to have the same conversations and do the same interviews that we're trying to do right now.
Yeah, so Molly is talking to Scott off the air. We'll see if we can't get him in a better location. He had some one-liners going today, didn't he?
Oh, I know. He took the gloves off with Mr. Lashley and his comments. I'm glad to know that we are not the only people that felt that way about his proclamation about the depth of the ACC compared to the SEC.
All right, let's try this again. Let's go back to Scott. And I was just complimenting you because you had all your 1A material ready to go today when you came on. We appreciate that.
I don't play when I come on three-man front. That's actually two dudes and a really awesome lady. I don't play that.
And by the way, your phone now sounds much better. So I don't know.
I turned the Wi-Fi off.
Oh, okay. Imagine that.
It's a tip for future guests.
Okay.
Yeah, modern technology.
That's amazing. Okay, so we were talking about what Rhett Lashley said yesterday, and you were talking about how, this has been kind of a nothing burger. But let's talk about the expectations on the field. Everyone believes that this is Clemson's year, not only in the ACC, but potentially to make a serious run for a national championship with who they have coming back. Where's the Achilles with this Clemson team, in your opinion?
I'm wondering about running back.
Okay.
I mean, Phil Maffa was a workhorse. I'm wondering how they replaced somebody who had that kind of workload and who had been a presence in the backfield, even if it was a part-time role up until last year. I'm wondering how they fill that. And maybe the Achilles is also just, I don't know, maybe it's just that mindset that they're little old Clemson. I mean, that has to be ingrained into you at some point when you hear it over and over and over that you're in a weak conference. Your coach is stubborn. He's not working the portal. It's going to be one and done in the playoff when you guys get in. You only got in last year thanks to Syracuse. I mean, I'm wondering if that's something that'll actually motivate them, or if it'll be to their detriment, where they might say, we didn't play the best of schedules. We had LSU in the season opener, but other than that, who did we really play? I'm wondering if that could be an Achilles heel down the road.
So outside of Clemson, what are you looking at in terms of the hierarchy, I guess, in the ACC, the biggest challengers to Clemson? Do you think it's going to be SMU and Miami again like last year? Or is there another team in the ACC, or maybe multiple, that we need to be keeping our eyes on as that surprise team this year?
We really, I mean, when we talk about Belichick in North Carolina, we just don't know. He flipped the roster. They have a manageable schedule. They actually play Clemson in Chapel Hill. That'll be Belichick's first ACC game. That'll be fun. I'm still buying stock in Georgia Tech, man. I really am. And when you got a quarterback like Haynes King, everything's going, splendidly. They're investing a lot of money, by the way, at Georgia Tech. It's crazy how much they're investing in the football program now. I wouldn't be shocked to see them play Clemson in the conference championship game. But other than that, I mean, look, they're the third Power 4 conference for a reason. The schedule or the depth of the conference is laughable. And Brett Lashley, I mean, you could tell Brett Lashley's a newbie to the ACC because he's talking about only 6 teams from the SEC have won a championship. Actually, it's a little more than that. He forgot Kentucky in 1976 had a split title. But how many ACC teams have won a title this century? 3. It's either been Clemson, Florida State, or one year you had Pitt. He needs to learn his history.
Very interesting. Well, just rubbing elbows with the people around the ACC, and I know that Jim Phillips, he's not like Brett Yormark. I mean, you can tell that Jim Phillips, that Northwestern background, he's an individual that, I mean, he's very calculated. He's not going to make a lot of headlines by saying things that Tony Petitti or Greg Sankey's going to say, or even Brett Yormark when Yormark said, I'm doubling down. But in regards to the CFP, I know that he is aligning himself more closely with Brett Yormark with the 5'11" possibility. But could they be swayed another way and maybe go the route in regards to what Tony Petitti and the Big Ten want, or they are hell-bent on the 5'11" format?
I think they're hell-bent on the 5'11" format. I really do. I think there are years where the ACC can get more than 2 in. I truly do. And if they go with the what is it, the 4-4-2-2-1?
Yeah, I'd never heard that one before till this week.
Oh man, that's like a combination on my high school locker. Is that contingent upon them expanding to 9 conference games? Because the problem with that is that's going to be, again, to the detriment of the ACC, because it's going to get rid of a lot of those rivalry games with SEC schools. Florida, Florida State, Kentucky, Louisville, South Carolina, Clemson. That's going to go the way of the dodo bird if that happens. If they go to 9 conference games, more than likely, a lot of those games are going to disappear. And also remember, there are 17 football schools in the ACC. So they literally can't do a fair schedule for the entirety of the conference if they go to 9 games. So I think that's one reason why they'll not go with the 4-4-2-2-1. I think, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the one that's tethered to the conference games, or is it the other way?
Well, I think the way that they were trying to explain it is that would give Notre Dame access to the ACC spot. I think that's why the ACC was listed having the same 4 as the Big Ten and the SEC.
But I think the 5-11, Scott, is the one where they want the 9 conference games before they do the 5-11. Yeah,
and see, that's Notre Dame again having it all. I mean, what a Faustian deal those guys made. I mean, they took John Swofford to school on that, and they're already beholden to play 5 ACC games a year. And you know what? That's fine, whatever. But if they somehow have extra access to the CFP, which they already get because of Notre Dame, but if they get extra access because of their alliance with the ACC, man, I'm throwing my hands in the air and just saying, look, let's just get this Super League thing done, SEC, Big Ten, and just cast everybody else out.
Yeah, it must be nice to have your cake and eat it too, and have it that way pretty much all the time, right, Scott? If you're Notre Dame.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm on a roll today, because I'm in kind of a sideways mood, because, again, this is really
why did they give you some bad
here.
food or something, Scott? Like, you're in a bad mood today. I mean, you're just very ornery. You're very Feinbaum-esque.
I'll take that as a compliment. Can I talk to I-Man? Is he going to call when I hang up? I just, Notre Dame, to me, have you guys ever been to a game at Notre Dame?
I have not.
Nope.
I've never been to South Bend.
It was the most underwhelming place I've ever been.
Really?
Underwhelming. I went 2 weeks after going to a game at Army. Army blew my mind. Notre Dame, I was like, I don't know if I expected to have some kind of religious experience or out-of-body experience or something, but I left there thinking, and then I got a ticket. I got pulled over on the way back to Chicago, so maybe that's it.
That's your sign.
I think that's the problem.
That's your sign. That's awesome, Scott. Well, I did want to ask you quickly, before we let you get out of here, about one other team in the conference, and just based on the conversations you've had there in Charlotte with other media members, what is the, I guess, how do people feel about Florida State this year? Because we know last year was a disaster. You're not going to be that bad. There's no way they can be that bad again this year. But from the people you've talked to, what are the realistic expectations in terms of how much better Florida State might be this upcoming fall?
They could win 7 games and they'll look exponentially better. But I think what happened at Florida State is we saw 1 year of really unexpected, unbelievable success because Mike Norvell managed to hit the lottery when it came to the portal, and then his numbers didn't hit the next year. And that's what happened. And I think that's the lesson to be taken out of all this, that when you are living and dying by the portal, and that's to a great extent what he did, you are going to have years that are going to be bad. That one just happened to be historically bad because they put all their eggs in a quarterback who was a proven non-thing. I don't want to say a failure, but he was not an ACC level, Power 4 level quarterback. He wasn't. DJU was not. And that's where it was. And, a tremendous drop-off. It also shows the value of Jordan Travis the year before. I think that's what happened. 7 wins, 8 wins, very realistic, but anything beyond that, I don't see happening.
Hey, I wanted to ask you before we let you go, in regards to does the ACC do a media poll like we do in the SEC? Is that at the end of the week, or have they punted it like the Big 12 did?
No, they do it.
Okay.
We got to have it in by Monday, I believe. I haven't even sat down to look at it. Yeah, we get a lot of time to let that marinate. How about that?
Jeepers. Okay. Sure.
How about that, man? I mean, I get to sit back and go, okay, where am I putting Wake Forest? Which Wake Forest ought to be really interesting. New coach.
Okay, Scott. Now you're grasping for straws. Now you're trying to make sure. Now you're trying to make sure your boss is listening to make sure that you can expense the whole trip. If now you're talking about Wake Forest.
I'm trying to create a narrative. There's nothing to report here. I'm trying to create something. I'm actually double dipping. I'm looking at my email now to make sure I'm not giving the good people of Alabama misinformation with regards to that ballot. But I'm pretty sure I saw on it and I went, oh, okay, yeah, Monday. Wow, all right.
Okay, so Monday it will be released, or Monday is when it's due for you to turn in?
Monday's when it's due for me, and then we have to have our AP ballots in by Wednesday, I think.
Oh, are you an AP voter this year?
I am.
Oh, good. Good. Then I can make fun of you every Sunday afternoon when it comes out.
Hey, I'm going to tell everybody out there, this is a wonderful website if you really want to treat the poll voters, all 62 of us, like pincushions. Go to collegepolltracker.com. You can see everybody's ballot. You can see their trends. It's really cool, man. collegepolltracker.com.
Okay, I'm glad you told me that, because I absolutely will be tweeting and making fun of you the entire time. So that's fantastic.
You do it. As long as I get the clicks, man.
At least you're honest. That is Scott Hamilton. You can read his work in the Charleston Post-Courier. Outstanding job in Charlotte this week. Continue to read all of his work there at the Post-Courier website. Scott, always a pleasure, man. Hope to see you soon.
Y'all my people. See you soon.
See ya. That is Scott Hamilton joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, if you're driving around, it is the lunch hour. You need to go visit our friends at Big Whiskey's, because that's a great place for food of all varieties. Whatever it is you're craving on this Wednesday afternoon, they're going to have it for you right there at Big Whiskey's. Their bar also features unique cocktails, including over 120 whiskeys and whiskey on tap. Plus, go check out Big Whiskey's for football season, because they got plenty of screens to catch all the games coming up later this fall. That's Big Whiskey's. They're located in Stadium Trace Village off of Highway 150 over there by the Hoover Met.
We have a full bank of text messages that we will get to on the Courtesy GMC text line. We are also guest-free the rest of the way, so we'd love to hear from you if you've got an opinion on what's going on with the Stallions, what the Big Ten media days, some of the coaches, what they've had to say about the SEC, all that. We're open to you the rest of the way. This is Jox. This is Three Man Front. If you missed any of our interviews today on Three Man Front, you can always download the Three Man Front podcast. Brian Edwards was on in the 10 o'clock hour. You just heard Scott Hamilton from the Charleston Post-Courier giving us an update from ACC football media days. We've got afternoon baseball happening. The Atlanta Braves taking on the San Francisco Giants, the final of a 3-game series. Braves wrapping up their homestand after the All-Star break, and right now they are scoreless in the top of the 4th inning, as the Braves have been no hit through the first 3 innings. The Giants have 3 hits against Strider. They loaded the bases in the first inning, but unable to score any runs, so it is scoreless. Meanwhile, in the nation's capital, the Cincinnati Redlegs, they lead the Washington Nationals 1-0. Mid-5th inning, tied between the Padres and Marlins. Bit of an odd score. Had to do a double check on this next one.
Sorry, Molly.
The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes. I did see that.
They're leading the Detroit Tigers 6-0.
End of the 3rd, I believe.
That is correct. Top of the 4th inning, as the Pirates got a grand slam earlier in the game.
I believe this is a pitcher we called up from AAA, like yesterday. If I'm not
Already with
mistaken.
the excuses.
Yeah. Typical.
Well, Scooble's on paternity leave, so congrats
Oh,
to
is
him and his
he having a
wife.
kid?
It's their second kid.
Oh, very cool.
So congrats to him and his wife. but
Absolutely. That's awesome. Y'all beat Skeens yesterday, though.
We did.
Top of the 2nd inning, Mets lead the Angels 1-0. Later on today will be the Cubs and Royals. That's a 1:20 start. Astros Diamondbacks is at 2:40. Brewers and Mariners at 2:40. Twins Dodgers at 3:10. Also the Cardinals. Did not realize we're still playing baseball. We're playing the Rockies, who beat us last night.
Only 62 games left to go, Pat.
One of the worst teams in the history of modern baseball. And they scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings. And so what did we do today? We sent that pitcher designated for assignment. Kicked him off the team, which we should have. Should have kicked off about half the team. Yeah. Great trade if you keep up with baseball. Last year, we traded Tommy Edman, who ended up being the MVP of the National League Championship Series.
He's a good player, yeah.
Yep. Tommy, we traded Tommy. It was a 3-team trade. Traded Tommy Edman. Ultimately, he ended up with the Dodgers. But part of the 3-team trade was with the Chicago White Sox. We got Eric Fetty, pitcher, who we released today, and Tommy Pham, who we released 2 weeks after we traded for him. So we got rid of Tommy Edman.
Not a good return on investment.
We have absolutely nothing to show for it. It's amazing how bad our front office has become.
Well, something that is a good return on your investment is Diamonds Direct, because it's finally here, their biggest event of the Summer Designer Showcase. It's a limited time event packed with designer jewelry. They're going to have special guests and major savings. You'll even get an extra 20% off almost everything in the store, and it's happening July 25th through the 27th, but some of the deals are actually starting now. They have 20% off the 21st through the 27th. And like I said, the designer event is the 25th through the 27th. So go check them out at the Cahaba Village in Mountain Brook.
So just when you think that there's a little bit of momentum of sanity when it comes to college sports, you had the College Sports Commission. You felt, okay, here we go. We're going to get some guardrails. We're going to get some understanding of what you can and cannot do in regards to NIL. Well, last night, it was made official, but House attorneys, talking about the House settlement attorneys, they have reached a deal with the power conferences and the NCAA officials that will now alter the College Sports Commission relating to how NIL collectives can pay athletes. So the College Sports Commission now is expected to treat collectives. Now, just about a week or two ago, remember, they were sending letters out.
We thought collectives were going away, right?
That they're finished.
Yeah.
Like no more. So the schools, if you want to share $20.5 million, part of your budget, whatever the case may be, you're good to go. But these collectives are going to go by the wayside. Well, guess what happened? Lawsuits. The threat of lawsuits. And so now college sports collectives are going to be back in business, and they're going to be treated by the College Sports Commission as similar to Conrad Van Order Plumbing. If you want to go and give Molly Robinson some NIL cash,
You're just going to have to go through and get it approved and make sure it's above board.
So what does this ultimately mean It means that your local NIL collective can still give money to top athletes and recruits. Revenue share will have a salary cap, but nothing is slowing down a school from building a football roster north of $35 million.
I was about to say, so it's the exact same as what we had last year.
Correct.
No
That's
difference.
what I'm saying. It's like you come up with a fancy new name, you go hire a big name person to run this organization, and now you're like the NCAA. You have absolutely no teeth whatsoever to enact rules and regulations. This is bad for college sports.
Somebody's gonna have to figure it out, and I don't be the first person to raise my hand and say it's certainly not me that's gonna be the one that figures it out. But I mean, like, what's the point of all of this? I guess, and I mean, now for us, right? Like, we've spent how long talking about the House settlement and the implications of it, going back and forth, this and that, trying to break it down as easily as we can for everyone, and now here we are, we're back at square one. None of it matters. It sounds nice. It makes you think that something's going to change, but here we still are.
It just means your local NIL collective can still give money to top athletes to get them to come to your school.
So don't cancel those collective subscriptions, those donations that you were making to your favorite program every month.
When we come back on Three Man Front, we'll hear what Tony Petitti had to say yesterday about his relationship with the SEC and Greg Sankey, why they are planting that flag on the hillside of the wonderful automatic qualifying model for the CFP, and get to your calls and texts. This is Three Man Front on Jox. 12:33 on Jox. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front on a hot, steamy. I think that's going to be the theme for about the next 10 days. Hot, steamy, miserable weather.
I thought you were going to say the next 2 months.
Possibly. This Friday, we will be 4 weeks away from high school football.
It's crazy how fast it goes by.
Be here before you know it.
That's right. And we'll all be very busy this fall.
Yeah, I went to Target the other day, and they already had the back-to-school stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I made the mistake over the weekend. I totally forgot. Now that I have, for the first time in Jeepers, 23 years.
No kids in school?
That I have no children in school at all. And I made the mistake of going to Target in Trussville. And it was sales tax free weekend.
Oh, I forgot that was last weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little busy.
Yeah. That was a bad move on my part. I want to do a shout out to Riley Quick. I've known Riley since he was a very young tadpole swimming around in the city of Trussville, who ended up playing baseball and football at Hewitt-Trussville High School. He's been a pitcher at the University of Alabama. He made it official this morning. He signed his contract with the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, very nice.
So he is officially a major leaguer. So Still Hall, who was the shortstop for Hewitt-Trussville High School this year, he signed with the Cincinnati Reds about a week ago. So Riley's brother Pierce played at Alabama as offensive lineman. But Riley was a pitcher, and so Riley signs his deal today with the Minnesota Twins. So congratulations to Riley and the Quick family.
Very cool. And I didn't know this, but apparently, I guess in high school, Riley was he offensive lineman or defensive lineman?
He played both ways.
Yeah, and then you see what he's turned into now as a future major league pitcher, and it's pretty wild that he was a pretty good offensive and defensive lineman in high school, from what I understand.
He was an outstanding. He could have easily played Power 4 football.
Yeah.
Alabama, Auburn. I think Auburn was definitely recruiting him from a football standpoint. So
baseball seems to work out for him.
Yes. Yeah. That 97, 98 mile an hour fastball, it looks really good.
That plays. Yep.
Yep. Let's go back to the, before we do that, Tony Petitti yesterday. Wanted to get into a little bit about what Tony said, the commissioner of the Big Ten Conference. A lot of conversation about what the relationship is between the SEC and the Big Ten, and this is what he had to say about the ongoing discussions about the new CFP.
I think pretty publicly brought our ADs together in both leagues twice, once in New Orleans, once in Nashville over the last 6 to 9 months, maybe a little longer than that, but twice during that period. And it's been productive, not just talking about CFP, but lots of other issues that are around college athletics. And so I do think, we're obviously not in the same place on these discussions. I think there's lots of ideas. I think the goal would be to bring people back together, have a conversation, what we think works, and then kind of go from there. But I will say, every time we've come together with the two leagues, we still have our presidents and advisory group meeting. Like, good things have happened, not just for the two conferences. I think for college athletics in some places, especially around the settlement.
So that was Tony Petitti talking about how good things have happened when these two organizations have come together. And that's what's been so weird, Conrad, because when they met in Nashville, that was the first meeting. Then they met in New Orleans. When the meetings adjourned, both leagues were very happy with what they were able to accomplish. And you just heard what Tony Petitti had to say. It's just odd that all of a sudden, over the course of just a short period of time, that both conferences started going down a different road in regards to the way they were thinking in regards to the CFP.
Well, and I know it's different, but I mean, it kind of does remind me of the original, or not the original, but I guess the last alliance that we had in college football that obviously did not work out well for anybody that was involved in that. But you had these unified fronts where they would get up and talk about how, we're all on the same page. We want the same things. We want what's good for the game of college football. And then after that comes out of your mouth, the next sentence is taking a shot at who's supposed to be your allies. And then that's exactly what we've gotten from all these conferences. So it's not surprising, but it is interesting to hear both Petitti and Sankey say, yeah, we're having these conversations. We're talking regularly. They're good conversations. Then what's the holdup? Like, you're having good conversations. Things are moving in a good direction. It seems to be pretty cut and dry, right? Either you're going to go to 9 conference games or you're not. And then the Big Ten's going to make a decision based on that. So it's, All these alliances, man. They want to be friends 1 second, the next second they're twisting the knife in the back.
Yeah, who needs enemies when you have those friends?
That's right.
Like the Big Ten. Tony Petitti also at the podium. He makes this debate that a 6-3 record in the Big Ten is a really, really good thing.
At the end of the day, I think our coaches are willing to take that risk because what they're thinking about it is not a snapshot of any one season. They're looking at how do we get more teams in contention. Look, as you expand the playoff, the rest of the bowl system and how we're trying to protect all of that, you're basically driving everybody to this one event. And it's just, I think in every league's interest, not just ours, to have more teams emerging, like Indiana did last year, giving more teams a chance to compete. And there's just huge value in having games across. Look, last year Ohio State was 7-2 and finished 4th in the Big Ten, right? Was undefeated in non-conference play. So, the idea that we can go deep, I feel pretty strongly about that. If you're 6-3 in the Big Ten, I would argue that's a great record. And if you stumbled in a non-conference game, I don't know why that disqualifies you. 8-4 is a winning percentage. If you project that winning percentage in every other sport, I'm pretty sure you make the postseason.
6-3, huh? Last year in the Big Ten, the two teams that went 6-3 was the Illinois Fighting Illini and the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I'd love to go 6-3.
Well, you'd be in the playoff, or at least in the conversation.
According to him, I would be. It'd be great.
I mean, you went 3-6 last year, Molly, but you still went to a bowl game.
And that's all that matters. We went to a bowl game.
That's just such an incredible comment to say our conference is so good, because essentially what he's saying is, and I know he probably doesn't mean it this way, but this is what he said. You go 6-3 in our conference because our conference is so good. Go 6-6 overall. Who cares? Because you went 6-3 in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
That's the best conference in college football. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter who you play in the non-conference, which it should, because a lot of your non-conference schedules are embarrassing, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. That is certainly an interesting comment.
All right, the final clip from Tony Petitti. Very interesting. Stuart Mandel from The Athletic. Almost very Brandon Marcello-esque. Remember when Brandon Marcello raised his voice? And pretty much...
with Commissioner Sankey?
Yeah. Down at SEC spring meetings.
Yep.
Remember that little back and forth? Well, take a listen. As Stuart Mandel was handed a microphone from The Athletic, he had this exchange with the commissioner of the Big Ten.
Stuart Mandel from The Athletic. Tony, when talking about CFP format, obviously you have a lot of constituents, coaches, ADs, and so on. The public, the fans, have indicated overwhelmingly they do not want a system where certain conferences get more bids than others. At what point, how much emphasis, if at all, do what the public want come into decisions like this?
Well, first, let's take issue with the way you're phrasing that. I don't really know. I'm not aware of massive studies with real research that have demonstrated that.
It's not a scientific poll, but a poll I put on Twitter this morning. It was 76% for 5+11, 24% for the plan you guys want.
Look, I think, we feel pretty strongly that fans will really gravitate to a play-in weekend. That, providing games that are do or die on the field will drive fan interest. Whether there's enough information that fans have in any one poll about what a new system will be, I'm not aware of how it was phrased or not. I just believe, and I'm talking to our league, the weekend that we're talking about, where you'd have championship games and across all conferences, meaningful play-in games. I don't see how that's a bad thing for college football, and I think fans will gravitate to it.
He called him out. I was unaware of a scientific poll dealing with this question. Oh, no. It wasn't a scientific poll. It was a Twitter poll.
Just my Twitter.
It was my Twitter.
Hey, to be fair, I'm looking at it right now. He got almost 7,000 votes on that poll. That's a pretty good. I mean, again, that's not every college football fan in the country, but that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That are weighing in on that. I'm sure that the Ohio State fans would love for there to be a play-in like last year, where in a year like last year, where let's say you potentially go up against a Michigan again and you get upset, and now you find yourself out of the college football playoff because you had to play the sixth best team in your conference for a chance to get in after you went through the regular season.
I am so ready for non-talking season, and let's talk actual football.
Actual games?
Yeah.
Yep. So you can make fun of Indiana for their non-conference schedule?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be beautiful.
Be great.
Make fun of Jimbo Fisher in studio with the ACC network.
Again, and it's just some of these things that, I mean, a lot of these are supposed, and I know like he's answering a question, you're kind of on the spot, but some of these statements are prepared statements, and they're still coming out of their mouths. Like they're taking the time to read it, proofread it. I assume have other people read it, and they're all, yeah, this is great. You should definitely say these things.
And once again, Jim Phillips and Tony Petitti both looking at a stupid teleprompter instead of basically doing what Sankey and Yormark did.
Yep.
Just very,
Be
very odd.
personable.
Yeah. Well, one thing that you don't have to worry about when you go to Courtesy GMC in Trustful is a wonderful, personable staff. And I'm talking about Josh Gargis, Drew Lally, Tommy Rowan, guys in the service department, the body shop. All of them are there to serve you and help you. And right now, they can help you save up to $16,000 off a Sierra 1500, or you can get 0% APR financing while it lasts. You can also take $10,000 off the heavy-duty Sierra 2500, or you could drive off on a Yukon Denali with up to $5,000 off in savings. And every brand new vehicle that you buy there at Courtesy GMC, you get the 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Check them out online, courtesybirmingham.com. Simply go by and see them off of I-459 exit 32 in Trustful. A great sponsor here at Three Man Front, and they do so much in the local community in East Jefferson County with schools, firefighters, and police. So every dollar that is earned off a sold vehicle there at Courtesy GMC, it goes back into the community. Go by and see them. That is Courtesy GMC in Trustful off of exit 32, I-459. More Three Man Front. We will get to your text messages next on this steamy Wednesday on Jox. News coming out of Auburn Some good news, well deserved. Butch Thompson, the head baseball coach of the Auburn Tigers, he has a new, more lucrative contract in Auburn. He now has a 6-year deal through 2031, has a $1.5 million base salary with fruitful incentives, also increased staff salaries. Contract has incentives that rolls over to 2033. So that is a great news and story for Butch Thompson and Auburn baseball fans.
Absolutely. And like you said, well deserved.
Absolutely.
Butch Thompson. Yeah.
So if you look at where that Auburn baseball team was coming off of the 2024 season.
It was a rough year. I mean, they went from what, last in the SEC or second to last to
what they were able to do. And
it's remarkable.
And you look who they ended up losing to in the NCAA baseball tournament.
Well, that
team that made it to
Coastal was
Omaha.
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Played for the national championship. So back to the text line we go, Conrad, at 205-834-9450.
That's right. And we have just so many texts to get to on everything we've talked about today. So why don't we start off with Bama Hater? Be a good place to start, right? He says, Conrad, don't whine about non-SEC teams' non-conference opponents when Alabama is scheduled to play Eastern Illinois this year. Well, Alabama also plays Wisconsin and Florida State to go along with Eastern Illinois. If you want to knock them, you have to knock, I would assume, every other school, including Miami, who plays Bethune-Cookman this year, a noted powerhouse in the ranks of college football, right, Pat?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you. I'm just looking around the SEC, and I'm gonna give you, I guess, what would be considered the weakest non-conference opponent for every SEC team.
Okay.
And you tell me, who do you think is the worst? Bama's got Eastern Illinois.
Okay.
Arkansas, Alabama A&M.
Okay.
Auburn has Mercer.
Not Mercer. They're good.
Florida has Long Island.
Haven't seen the tape on Long Island. I'm going to assume they're not great, though.
They have a great T. Georgia plays Austin P.
Okay.
Let's go pee.
You got to go to the bathroom? What?
No, I had a bunch of friends from high school that went to Austin P.
Is that what they
It's in
chant,
Tennessee.
really? Let's go pee?
Yeah, let's go pee.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
What do they say at Morehead State?
I don't know, Pat. What do they say?
I don't know. That's why I was asking.
I don't know either.
It's a mystery.
It's a great school.
It is a mystery.
Larry from Homewood's son played football there.
Well, maybe he can answer the question.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. He was not at Social Taco yesterday. That's a demerit. He did not show up yesterday. Kentucky's playing Tennessee Tech.
Okay.
LSU Southeastern Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
Mississippi State's Alcorn State. Missouri Central Arkansas. Oklahoma's playing Illinois State. Ole Miss, the Citadel. South Carolina State. Tennessee, East Tennessee State. Texas is playing all power opponents.
Good for them.
They're playing Ohio State, San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. Texas A&M is playing Samford.
Okay.
And Vandy is playing Charleston Southern. So of all of those that I have mentioned, which one jumps out to you the most as maybe the weakest opponent of the non-power opponents in the SEC?
I don't know. They're all bad. I guess Long Island just
Long
sounds.
Island?
Long
Like-
Island sounds like they're probably really bad. If I'm being completely
Don't know
honest.
much about Long Island.
No, but I'm going to bank on them not. I mean, to be fair, none of those. I mean, we know Mercer's a pretty good program. Sanford's a pretty good program at the FCS level. But I'm sorry. Anytime we go into a state and add a direction in front of it, I'm just going to assume it's probably not great. But yeah, I would go with Long Island there.
They went 4-8 last year.
Well, Bama Hater followed up my Bethune-Cookman comment by saying, I wish I could look forward to Alabama playing any HBCU and giving them some money. So now it's not about the competition level because it's fine that Miami's playing a lower affiliated program because they're giving money to an HBCU as opposed to Alabama that's paying Eastern Illinois. Okay. Glad to know that's where we are drawing the line.
The Sharks were 4-8 last year, 3-3 in the NEC.
The what?
The NEC, the Northeast Conference.
Okay, that really is what it sounds like. The neck.
Yeah. That's the league in which Central Connecticut and Duquesne went 5-1 last year. Robert Morris is in that league. Wagner, St. Francis, Mercyhurst. I guess Mercyhurst was unavailable for a game this year. And Stonehill. Those are your teams of the Northeast Conference, also known as NEC.
I like NEC. That sounds nice. Someone chimes in. They said, what y'all all don't understand, except for Molly, is the Big Ten really doesn't care about what people in SEC country think about them. It doesn't matter to them. They just don't care. Ask Molly, and she will tell you. Is that true, Molly? Do people in Big Ten country not care about the SEC?
Not really, if I'm being honest.
Fair enough. I guess it just means more down here.
So hold on a second. If they don't care, then why do the coaches start going crazy about the SEC all the time?
Oh, because they care.
I'll say coaches care, but fans, not so much.
Would you say, okay, so in the Big Ten, if you are a fan, let's say you're a Michigan fan, right? In your experience, Molly, did they watch a lot of Big Ten football, or are they just watching Michigan games? Or do they kind of take in the entire conference or even the entire country? Because I feel like that's kind of the difference here in the SEC is we watch, maybe you're an Alabama and Auburn fan, but you probably watch all the SEC, but you're also watching what's going on typically in a lot of the other conferences.
I would say that's pretty general for most of the Big Ten.
Okay.
Obviously, when your team is on, that's the team that you're gonna watch the most. But I know for my brother and my sister-in-law, who my sister-in-law went to Michigan. My brother went to Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
They live in Ann Arbor, and of course they'll watch the Big Ten when it comes on. But my brother also he likes Tennessee, so he'll watch Tennessee when it's they kind of go elsewhere too.
I got you. Okay, no, that perfect. That's a great answer. Someone chimes in. They say, are they going to have to speed up the closed captions on the ACC network since Jimbo is now joining the team? That would be a difficult, wouldn't want to be that. Or if you're the person if you've ever, I guess not many people have done this, but worked in TV and had to run the teleprompter before, that would be very difficult for a guy like Jimbo Fisher. So keep the text coming in, 205-834-9450.
One more hour to go. You can join us, 1-800-239-WJOX. Pat, Conrad, Molly, this is Three Man Front. Landrum back with us tomorrow. More straight ahead on Jox. It is 1 o'clock. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front on Jox. Pat, Conrad, Molly. Lange will be back with us tomorrow. Sure, he'll be freshed, ready to go after his wonderful vacation to the happiest place on earth, San Francisco, California.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that where he went?
Have you gotten any more updates on him?
No,
Oh, okay.
I have not.
He's MIA.
We were texting last night about the Birmingham Stallions situation, but no more about his itinerary or what's going on. Kind of went cold after Saturday. It was nonstop.
Well, I think today it's getaway day for the Braves. I think it's getaway day for Landrum as well.
Can't wait to ask him how many times he tuned in for the Braves this weekend.
Yeah, that would. I'm gonna guess not a lot, but hopefully he got to watch Monday and Friday. Those were the two nights that he should have tuned in because you got to win.
The suit is now texting me things that I shouldn't be reading on the air.
Does he have comments on Signetti or Lashley?
No, it was about Langell.
Oh, about Landrum. Okay, yeah. Well. We don't want to air too much of Landrum's dirty laundry while he's gone.
Speaking of the Braves are down 3-0, top of the sixth. There was a rumor a few moments ago that a few people were shooting down that Marcell Ozuna had been traded to the San Diego Padres.
But not yet.
But that has been debunked.
In the sense of keep your eyes peeled on the Padres, or it's just...
Now, somebody out west was reporting that that deal was close, and then a bunch of people on this side of the Mississippi River said that is not the case.
Gotcha.
And there has not been communication between the Braves and the Padres, which would make sense because the manager of the San Diego Padres was the manager for the Cardinals when Marcell Ozuna played for the Cardinals. So there is that previous relationship, and obviously the Padres trying to make a run to the wild card. They want another bat.
Remember when Ozuna and Christian Yelich and Giancarlo Stanton were in the outfield together in Miami?
Yes, I do.
How different their careers have all ended up.
Yep, and the Cardinals had an opportunity. The Marlins basically told the Cardinals, which one of the three do you want? And they're like going, okay, which one of the three? All right, well, obviously Stanton, pretty good. Okay. They'd worked out a trade, and then Stanton blocked it. Said he did not want to play in Middle America. He wanted to either play in San Francisco or New York. He wanted to play on either coast. All right, so that was put to bed. All right, which one you want next, Cardinals? Ozuna or Yelich? People forget that Ozuna was a center fielder by trade.
I was about to say, at the time.
And he won a Gold Glove as a center fielder.
At the time, it was a smart choice.
And the Cardinals said, you know what? We'll take Ozuna. And then Yelich has won, what, 2 MVP
I was about to say, he
awards?
then went on to win 2 MVPs with the Brewers. To be fair, all of those guys, you know, Ozuna, I know he had a fantastic year last year. He's had his issues. Yelich, he won those 2 MVPs, but he's been a shell of his former self for the last 5 years. And, I mean, we get about 40 good games from Giancarlo Stanton a year, and that's it. So
we trade Zach Gallen and Sandy Alcantara to the Marlins for
that's who was in that trade?
Ozuna. Yeah.
I knew y'all traded them away. I just didn't know they were both in the same deal, and it was that deal.
Yes.
It's a lot of talent in that trade.
Yeah. It was back in the day when we had talent.
Yeah.
Speaking of debunking things, there is really nothing new to report. We've been trying to keep you up to date on what's going on with the Birmingham Stallions. There were online reports last night indicating that the Stallions would be relocated along with Memphis, Michigan, and Houston. I was sent a statement last night from a UFL spokesperson that read, the league office is in the planning stages for next season and beyond. At this point, we have nothing to report on any unauthorized speculation. So I reached out to a bunch of people last night. I've been getting text messages throughout the show today. I've been told that this is a fluid situation in Birmingham, that there is not a definite decision that has been made by the league office in regards to Birmingham, but the league office is reviewing all franchises and what potentially can be done to make it a better league moving forward. I've been told that, once again, it's fluid. Don't think that Birmingham is completely out of the woods yet in regards to coming back, but it's not for sure that they're leaving. Skip Holtz will be in town today. A free football clinic is being held at Legion Field later this afternoon. Skip Holtz will meet with the media at 4:30. So we'll see if he has anything new to say. Molly, let's play yesterday or Monday's quote. We had Skip Holtz on the program, and Skip Holtz was asked by myself in regards to what's next for the Birmingham Stallions. Everything you have heard, Coach, back in Birmingham next year, business as usual?
Yes, sir. Everything has been. There has not been anything to let me know that it's on shaky ground. I was told when I asked the question, because I hear the rumors just like everybody else, and I just went to the horse's mouth and was told absolutely not. They're not. Birmingham's not going anywhere. That's what I was told, and I feel comfortable with it, and we're moving forward and business as usual. I think when you look at it, there have been some criticism, maybe the way some of the markets have drawn, and potentially looking to reestablish those maybe in new markets. But from everything I've heard, Birmingham is not in that conversation. But I would also say, to make sure that we're never in it in the future, let's continue to grow attendance. Let's continue to grow it and put people in that stadium, because that's the excitement and the energy, and it's the more the merrier. The more that are there, the more good time everybody's going to have. And I think as these players have built a product on the field that deserves to be one of the most heavily attended programs in the league. And so that's the thing that I would like to just see it continue to grow. The people in Birmingham have been awesome. Love it there. I loved having the opportunity to live there for 2 years. But like I said, unfortunately now we're only there on the weekends, and I just want to see it continue to grow, because the Birmingham name, the Birmingham Stallion name it's synonymous with spring football. When you look at all the different leagues going all the way back to the 80s have had the Birmingham Stallions. And right now, for us to be able to have the success, and, there's been 4 seasons that we've played, 2 in the UFL and 2 in the USFL. And the Birmingham Stallions are the only team that have been in all 4 playoffs. And so I think, we've created a product on the field. I just want to see it continue to grow. But I am looking forward to being back in Birmingham in the 2026 season.
There you go. That is what Skip Holtz told this program on Monday. He will be in Birmingham today, a free youth clinic at Legion Field. He will speak to the media, according to Fox 6 here in Birmingham, at 4:30. So maybe we'll get some further indication of what's going on or not going on. I just went to the UFL website, and if you want a Birmingham Stallions jersey, it is on sale today for $41.97.
There you go.
It was normally $59.95. So I don't know what that means. Don't know if
It means
they're
it's 30% off.
having a liquidation sale on Birmingham Stallions gear.
Coincidence, Pat.
Now, there have been leagues here in the past where they didn't pay their bills, and where literally county sheriffs showed up at Legion Field to confiscate the equipment from the team because they did not pay their bills.
Oh, it's
not good.
There was a local sporting goods company that everyone would know
Mm-hmm.
that had provided certain workout equipment and certain things, and they had not paid. And so after one of the games, the Jefferson County sheriffs showed up and
hauled it out of there.
Need to confiscate what is not yours, and you have not paid for it. Good times.
Great times.
To the phones we go, 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Dave in Hoover. It was great to see Dave yesterday at Social Taco. What's going on, man?
Yep, a lot of fun. Yeah, and that's problematic when you lose your equipment. I guess you'd have to contact the team and say, hey, when you guys come to town, we're going to be doing flag football because we don't have any equipment. Yeah, let's play flag football.
Yeah, there's
hey,
no doubt.
Talk about the Braves trades. I go back. I don't know if you guys remember. Well, I know Pat does, but the big trade that got just killed me years ago was the Braves drafted Adam Wainwright, and then they traded him to the Cardinals for J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero. And,
that's correct.
J.D. Drew was like a rental player for like a year, and then they're gone. Eli Marrero was, I think, a part-time catcher. He's kind of a utility guy. He had some flashy moments, but
Hey, do you know who else went to St. Louis in that trade from Atlanta? Do you remember?
Adam Wainwright and no, I do not.
Ray King.
Ray King.
Left-handed reliever.
Yeah, I don't remember that name so much.
Portly left-handed reliever. Yep, he came back. He was the one that the Cardinals needed relief help, and so that was the main cog in it because the Cardinals were making a run in the playoffs, and so Ray King and they said, oh yeah, by the way, we've got this big, tall, gangly pitcher from the state of Georgia named Adam Wainwright, and the Cardinals said, okay, throw him in there.
Yep, and then he beat us every time we played him after that. For about 18 years.
Yeah.
Beat our brains in. Oh, yeah. So between that, Al Rabowski, I go way back to Andy Messersmith and the Dodgers Braves brought in. Those are nightmare trades. So the Braves have a history of giving away talent. But I kind of like what I read about Marcell Ozuna, though. They get a couple of pitchers, if that happens, like an 18th pick and a 22nd pick.
Yeah,
something like that in the first.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the rumors I saw, Dave, and not to mention the fact that San Diego's got a wonderful farm system, and they have made some pretty interesting trades over the last couple of years by getting Soto. You know, the haul that the Nationals got when they gave Soto up, and
then they flipped him to us.
Yeah, and so now you got a situation where it goes back to what you were telling us yesterday that, and I agree with you, by the way, in regards to taking calls on everybody on that roster. It doesn't mean you're going to trade them, but at least it gives you an idea of what you potentially could do, and you never know, somebody might come up and offer you everything they got in the minor league system, and I think Atlanta would be foolish not to listen to those potential offers.
Well, nobody wants to give up Acuna. I mean, you're crazy if you do, but unfortunately, we'd be naive to think that the Dodgers, Mets, and the Yankees aren't going to come knocking on his door and offering him a ton of money that the Braves just can't compete with. Hey, enjoy your show, guys.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. It was great seeing you yesterday. As always, you can join us at Social Taco from 10 until 2 o'clock each and every Tuesday.
And next week, banana pudding.
That's right.
Will be on the menu.
BB will be back. She was not there yesterday, but she will, and a lot of people yesterday.
And a lot of new people, yeah, and a lot of people saying, man, I was hoping for banana pudding today.
Hastings was upset because he came by yesterday. He will not be able to be there next Tuesday.
That's right.
Because he said, man, I'm going to miss banana pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Molly's a huge banana pudding fan. She said she wants 2 helpings of it next
You're going to be in for a treat. Molly got another gift yesterday.
I know.
I did,
Every time I turn around, somebody's bringing something for Molly.
I know.
It's very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, she got a nice little bit of an old school Nebraska hat. It's very nice looking.
Very nice looking hat. Go Big Red.
Sorry, Pat. We'll get you something.
That's okay. I just love being able to be there and eat my chicken feathers.
Those are good chicken feathers.
I was about to say, do just about anything for those chicken feathers. They are quite good.
They are outstanding. You need to do everything you can to call Abide Roofing. Need to do it today. 205-922-7134. AbideRoof.com. That is the website. Their team brings their A game every single day. The Abide's crew, they're highly skilled pros. They work with precision and pride, delivering top-notch results every single time. They have tailored roofing solutions for every need, whether it's a couple shingles that maybe need replacing to a full roof replacement. They can do that as well. They'll deal with your insurance company, and that's what impressed me the most with Travis Lloyd and his outstanding local roofing team. When I had issues with my insurance company, they were able to get on the roof with the adjusters. They were able to talk everything through. They represented me, and I was able to get a brand new roof thanks to them dealing with my insurance company. 25 plus years of trusted experience, decades of combined industry knowledge. Don't let your insurance hassles hold you back. Let them handle that for you. Call Abide Roofing today, 205-922-7134, or simply go to their website, abideroof.com. We'll get to your text messages, your calls as well. 3-man front on Jox. We're just talking about the Braves. There was a rumor earlier that the Padres and the Braves were having a discussion about Marcell Ozuna. Nothing official, just that time of the year. We're 8 days away from the trade deadline, so we'll see if anything comes to fruition. But you do have an update from Atlanta as day baseball is going on between the Giants and the Bravos.
Yeah, unfortunately, from bad to worse for the Bravos. So we'd last told you it was 3-0 in the 5th inning. Well, it is now 6-0 as they're about to start the 7th inning there in Atlanta. But Rafi Devers now with 2 home runs in this game. If you haven't seen it yet, if you go on social media, the first one he hit, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was a ball maybe 6 inches off the ground, just flicks the bat out there, and it somehow finds its way out of the park. But he just added a 3-run home run. So now San Francisco up 6-0 on the Atlanta Braves. Not great.
Okay.
Hope Landrum's not watching this one.
I'm sure he's on the flight right now.
I hope he didn't pay for the Wi-Fi so he could watch the Braves game on the flight.
By the way, before we get back to the text line, so much conversation was yesterday about what Curt Cignetti said. And if you missed it, he kind of took a shot at the SEC. This was his philosophy in regards to them canceling Virginia and picking up a bunch of non-Power 4 opponents.
Here's the bottom line, okay? We picked up an extra home game, and we play 9 conference games. You know, the 2 best conferences in college football, any football guy that's objective will tell you, is the Big Ten and the SEC, all right? 12 of the 16 SEC teams play 3 G5 or an FCS game. 12 of those teams play 36 games, 29 G5 games, and 7 FCS games, and 1 less conference game, all right? So we figured we'd just adopt SEC scheduling philosophy. You know, some people don't like it. I'm more focused in on those 9 conference games.
Well, I know that he's barely keeping up with what's going on in Bloomington, but just want to remind Coach that between 2025 and 2034, Alabama will play at least 2 Power 4 non-cons every year. From 2025 through 2034, they will play the likes of Notre Dame, Ohio State, Florida State, West Virginia, Georgia Tech, Arizona, Virginia Tech, Minnesota, Boston College, and Oklahoma State. That is who is on Alabama's non-conference schedule in the coming 10 years. Meanwhile, Georgia will play at least 2 Power 4 non-cons every year from 2026 through 2034. The likes of Ohio State, of course, Georgia Tech every single year, Louisville, Florida State, Clemson, and NC State. Florida, meanwhile, they will play at least 2 Power 4 teams 7 of the next 9 years. The likes of Notre Dame, granted, Florida State every year, Miami, Central Florida, Arizona State, and Colorado. Texas will play Ohio State, Michigan, or Notre Dame over the next 5 seasons as part of their non-conference schedule. So when Cignetti starts running his mouth about the SEC and their scheduling model, they're playing Ohio State and Michigan or Notre Dame over the next 5 seasons in non-con games. That's Texas. Can Indiana say that?
Nope.
The answer is no, and you're in the same conference as Michigan and Ohio State. So let's take a look at Indiana's schedule, shall we? The next 5 years, they will play 0 Power 4 opponents.
In non-conference.
Not a 1 in non-conference.
Nope.
They will play 0 road games. Next 5 years, no road games. 4 FCS opponents, and 2 of their 7 FBS opponents had winning records in 2024. That's the Indiana schedule that Cignetti was running his mouth about yesterday. 0 Power 4 opponents in the next 5 years, including no road games against non-cons, 4 FCS opponents, and 2 of their 7 FBS opponents had winning records in 2024. Just saying.
No, you're absolutely right. This is also, if I'm not mistaken, So the last 2 years, they had a home and home scheduled with Louisville that they had also previously canceled as well. So this is also not the first time that they have had an opportunity to go and play a non-conference Power 4 team, and they have decided to cancel that series. So this would make 3 times in the last 3 years that has happened.
Yeah. So
that's great for Indiana. And I will say this for Curt Cignetti, right? If the College Football Playoff Committee is not going to budge and they are going to continue to operate the way that they did last year, why would you schedule tougher opponents? I totally get that from his standpoint, right? You're playing smarter, not working harder. Totally understand that. But maybe don't go out and make asinine comments like that, right? If you want to go and schedule that way because you think it sets you up for success, that's fine. Go and do that. But then don't go and take shots at other conferences and other programs for who they are playing and their non-conference when you won't even play for. You don't even want to play Virginia. Virginia. Like, that's embarrassing. You're paying $500,000 to not play Virginia. And you made the college football playoff last year and you're worried about that? Heaven forbid they had to play someone in the SEC that's not Mississippi State or Kentucky.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the text line, 205-834-9450. On the text line, so many different topics today from the Stallions and the scheduling comments from not only Curt Cignetti, but also Rhett Lashley at ACC Media Days.
Yes, and well, quickly, we last text we got was, of course, the Braves are going to give Verlander his first win of the year with their performance today.
Is he the pitcher of record?
He, if he can make it, yeah. Let's see. He made it. He made it through 5.
Okay, I guess he is.
He went 5 innings, 1 hit, 5 walks.
Wow,
3 strikeouts.
He struck out 3. 98 pitches.
But he
in
walked
5 innings.
5 guys, and the Braves did not score a single run off of Verlander today. So that's brutal there. But getting back to your text on college football, somebody chimes in. Did the Big Ten and ACC coaches not realize that strength of schedule polls exist and the majority of SEC teams have harder non-conference and conference schedules than the other conferences? I guess not. If you go and look at ESPN analytics, the 11 toughest schedules in college football this year, according to ESPN, the 11 toughest are all SEC schools. Not 6 of the top 11. No, 11 of 11. The 11 most difficult schedules all come from the Southeastern Conference, according to ESPN. Let's see. Mike chimes in about the Stallions. He says, with the UFL being based around Dallas, do you think that they could drop city or state names from the teams and have a rotating schedule of home cities each year to keep attendance up? So I guess you're asking similar to maybe what we had that year that Birmingham was the host for the USFL, and you do that every year, but you just rotate which city is the host city every season. That seems like a lot because you'd have to build facilities in all those different places, and you're only going to use them once every 8 years.
We know the UFL built a training facility there in Arlington.
Yeah.
So they, where the Renegades play their game, that's where they train and practice all week long. That's the former home of the Texas Rangers that they've now turned into a soccer and football facility.
Drake chimes in. I would love for my Florida Gators to get a piece of Indiana. I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. Yeah, I was telling Pat this before the show. So we had on Morning Jox, we were talking about some of this. And we had someone that was texting in, obviously, is a Big Ten homer, and that's perfectly fine. But they were going through and ridiculing us for calling out the Big Ten. And then at the very end, he goes, I'm sorry, I realize y'all are talking about Curt Cignetti. Everything y'all just said is valid. Nobody likes him in the Big Ten either. So it was like, okay, at least we can all agree on one thing, and that's that Curt Cignetti is kind of a clown. But it is what it is. Let's see. Another text coming in. I just don't understand why the Big Ten is trying to gaslight everyone to go to 9 conference games. No one told them that they have to go to 9 conference games. All of the other conferences were fine, sticking with 8 conference games and 1 P4 non-con game. It's a fair point. No one forced the Big Ten to do that.
Well, and also the Big Ten is talking out both sides of their mouth. You had Petiti basically tell everyone, unless these other conferences go to 9 games, we won't even consider a 5-11. But then when he was asked yesterday, he said, I don't care what the other conferences run their conferences the way that they feel like they need to run their conferences. But which is it? Because you're basically holding them hostage by telling them that if you don't adhere to the 9-game conference schedule that Brett Bielema feels like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, then yeah, we're not going to play ball with you guys.
Brandon chimes in. He says, this Indiana coach seems like the type of guy that would get mad and throw a chair in the locker room. That's familiar for Bloomington. Yeah. Shades of Bobby Knight, maybe a little bit. Let's see. Someone says, Conrad, do you think Alabama will beat Georgia in Athens this year? I would say ask me again in about 6 weeks.
That means no.
I think it's definitely the most likely loss for Alabama on their schedule. But we'll see how both teams look. There's certainly an element of Alabama that Georgia struggles with for whatever reason from a mental standpoint. So we'll see. See how they look at the beginning of the year, both teams. Let's see. Somebody says the Braves also traded Charlie Morton for Nate McLouth. So that one has not worked out for them. Let's see. Will officiating be any different this year in the SEC? We have a great conference, but the officiating seems to be terrible. We need to get that fixed. I don't think you're going to see any major changes officiating-wise.
No, Jim McDade, who is the director of officials for the SEC, he spoke to members of the media last week in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
He pointed out in the SEC that the average game time went up 1 minute this last year.
Oh, no.
As opposed to the year before.
My attention span. Oh, no.
The actual penalties called per game went up from 14.1 per game to 14.5. And replays went up from 2.1 per game to 2.2 per game.
That's where the extra minute came from. Are you kidding me?
But scoring was up in the SEC. Almost 3 points. Total per team.
Yeah.
Total. And plays per game, though, went down because they had to spend all that extra time
Correct.
with the replays.
Hastings chimes in on the text line. He says, if the UFL and the Stallions leave Birmingham, they will not survive another 2 years. I'm calling my shot right now.
It's probably a good shot.
I don't hate that.
When we come back, we will get back to your phone calls. We'll do some Pat Ponders, worst thing I've seen, all that straight ahead in the last 30 minutes of the show here on Jox. 1:33 on Jox. Welcome back into the program on this steamy Wednesday. Pat, Conrad, Molly, Damian will join us for some Pat Ponders coming up in a minute. Let's get to a couple phone calls before we get to Ponders. BB is next on the program. Hey, BB, missed you yesterday.
Oh, I missed you guys too. Sorry I couldn't make it, but other things came up.
That's okay.
But next week I will come with banana pudding in tow, and everybody will be happy except Molly because she doesn't like bananas.
That is so typical, Molly, being very difficult when it comes to food.
BB, how do you peel your bananas when you make banana pudding?
I actually use a knife to cut the peel off.
Oh, okay.
She's not like a vulgar animal like you are when you try to eat the banana.
No, because I have to slice them very perfectly for the pudding. So
makes sense.
If I'm going to try to peel them with my fingers, I might squish the end, and I don't want to do that, so I just slice. So there you go.
That makes sense.
A lot of people looking forward to it next week. I'm like Molly. I'm not a banana pudding. I love bananas, but I do not eat banana pudding, so I will not be partaking of that. So hopefully you'll be making me and Molly a chocolate cake. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to bring a whole cake, but I told Molly that I wanted to bring something that she would like, and now that I know that you don't like, maybe you'll get a precious little cupcake or something.
How about that?
Ooh.
I'll take that in a heartbeat.
Baby, that's very kind.
That is
Thank
good
you.
stuff.
Sorry, I'm a picky eater.
I have to ask you, Pat, if I heard this right. I'm in the pool on my floaty, and I'm listening to the show, and I hear now that collectives can come out and just do whatever the heck they want.
That is correct.
With the money.
Yes.
I about fell off my float laughing.
That is true.
What in the world?
Well, they threatened the NIL collectives, threatened a lawsuit because the College Sports Commission had come out. It was the week before SEC Football Media Days, and they said, listen, this is what you have to do now, and these collectives are not going to be allowed to pay these student athletes anymore, and we're going to be able to say these deals are yay or nay. Well, they threatened a lawsuit, and now the College Sports Commission, they have come back because the House attorneys that had won the House settlement, they were ready to go back to a judge and to get an injunction, and so the College Sports Commission, they blinked. And so now it's going to be business as usual where these local NILs are going to be able to pay and do anything they want to do.
Why don't we just bring Ward Manuel back? I mean,
might as well.
Chicago Bears might let you have him at this point.
I mean, this is so insane. We have gone through how many months, multiple months of this anxiety over the stupid House hearing and all this crap to wind up right back at the start of, we're on the starting block for Candyland. We've never moved.
Yeah, and listen, it reminds me a lot of the college football playoff talk. I mean, I'm anticipating the same thing. I mean, because here we are, we got so close, and it looked like we're getting close to the SEC and the Big Ten consummating a deal and moving forward with it, and now every conference seems to have their own different idea, and I have no idea where it's going or if we're just going to stay at 12 for 2026.
Well, let me ask you this, just follow up. Do you honestly think that there's going to be huge ramifications or changes going into next year? I don't think they're going to have anything sorted out in a 12-year span or 12-month span.
No, I mean,
don't see them getting any further.
They have to tell ESPN by December 1st what the plan is for 2026. And based on everything that you're hearing, you have to feel that we are looking at the exact same thing in 2026 that you're having in 2025, which is obviously a 12-team playoff and then just straight seeding. That's what I'm anticipating.
By the time we get to 27, they'll probably all of college football, or at least the powers, will be carved out as NFL
minor league system.
Go off, minor leagues off, and everybody else will be left in the dust, and they're going to go do their own thing. So I guess we'll enjoy the next year or two and grouse about it, and then see where it goes from there.
It's pretty much. Well, BB, look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm jealous. She has a pool.
I know. I was like, man, today's a perfect day to be out on.
We could have our Tuesday social taco gathering at her place and have social taco deliver food.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, do the show from the pool.
Yeah. Good idea, right, Damien?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That won't be a problem with all the wires and things that we need to do a radio show.
Cordless.
And
Be
swimming,
fine.
you know, me, huge swimmer.
Oh, that's right. You don't swim. I forgot.
Wasn't someone gonna help you with that?
I thought Don Don was going to take you to the Y, and you guys were going to swim some laps in the deep end. Or the floaties. Were you not doing that?
No, Pat.
Oh.
Oh.
Somebody around the office told me that.
We're spreading rumors.
I thought it was Landrum.
No.
Was it not? I really thought it was Landrum that had.
No,
I thought he was going to take you to his club, and you guys were going to swim.
hadn't gotten that invitation.
Oh.
Well,
Don't
neither-
worry, we haven't
Yeah, I was
gotten
about to say
an
neither.
invitation
Okay,
to go
so
play
yeah.
golf at his club either. So
we're in the same boat.
Well,
All right.
I can't relate to that one, you guys. But yeah, I haven't been invited to the pool. I just get to go to the golf course.
Well, he invited me to the pool a couple weeks ago, but there was a reason why he wanted me to go to the pool.
Well, you needed to get
Swimming,
some-
right? Yeah, swimming.
You need to get some sun.
Dr. Mel. Good to see Dr. Mel yesterday. It was an all-star cast there at Social Taco. Dr. Mel, hope you're doing well on this wonderful Wednesday.
Yes, sir. We're doing fine, and thank you guys for allowing me to call in. And of course, I'm waiting in expectation of next Tuesday, BB's Banana Pudding.
Oh, yes, very much.
Yes, amen. But what I was calling you guys, I spoke to Molly earlier, and you guys was busy, and I run about. But my concern is about the Stallions, and matter of fact, long before you guys were born, this goes back to 1973, 1974, the Birmingham American, George Myra, Rip Reed, little Joey Jones. And matter of fact, guys, the attendance used to range 40 to 50,000 people. The games were played on Wednesday night, some games on Saturday night. And matter of fact, the year that the Birmingham Americans won the championship, we sit out there on Saturday night. They were playing the Chicago Fire. Conrad, there were 46,000 people pouring down rain. We sit there for the entire game, didn't move. And so after the demise of the Birmingham Americans, most of the business community, loyal football fans say, you know, we're writing this off. We'll support college football. And to this day, and that's been 50 years ago, people never have supported any of the USFL or XFL teams to that manner. And so, but those were the glory days. 40, 50,000 people in attendance. So I just hang up and hear you guys' comments. I'm praying that they stay around. I've supported them over the years, but many people said never again after the Birmingham Americans would they have anything to do with football in Birmingham.
Thank you, Dr. Mel. Thank you very much. I mentioned this earlier. The only teams, obviously, I did not cover was the Vulcans and Americans because they changed their name.
Mm-hmm.
It was early 70s, World Football League. And then the original USFL was too young.
The original Stallions.
The original Stallions with Cliff Stout at quarterback. Raleigh Dosh was the head coach. Joey Jones was one of the wide receivers. Joe Cribbs in the backfield.
That'll play.
Had a great team.
Yeah.
And then we went through a cast of characters from the Birmingham Cudas from the Canadian Football League. That was weird. 3 downs and a rouge. Learning Canadian Football League rules at Legion Field. That was odd. We had the Birmingham Fire of the World League of American Football. We also had the Birmingham Thunderbolts of the first XFL. Jay Barker was the quarterback for the Thunderbolts. That was the one where the cheerleaders were actually up in the stands, dancing and doing their thing.
In the stands?
In the stands. Where alcohol was being sold.
No.
There was absolutely
That's
nothing could go wrong
scandalous.
there.
Scandalous.
There was absolutely nothing could go wrong there.
No, absolutely not.
So, yeah, we've had our experiences with these spring football leagues, and we were hoping that this one was going to stick. Not saying it won't, but looking kind of interesting at this hour.
Yeah, not looking as good as it did 24 hours ago for being
No.
completely honest, but we've heard multiple people this morning. I mean, we had one person even text in that said, I didn't, attach myself to the Stallions because I'm so used to these spring football leagues in Birmingham not lasting very long. It's like, I don't want to get my hopes up and get invested in something just to have it ripped away from me every couple of years.
Oh, by the way, I forgot about the Birmingham Iron. They didn't even finish the season.
No, they didn't make it. Oh, Louis Perez, baby.
They didn't even finish the season.
That was a couple weeks.
That was like 6 weeks, and it was over with.
Was that Trent Richardson?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Sure was.
I thought he was like the big name.
Yeah, Forge on.
Well, if you're a homeowner and you look around your house and you notice some cracks and some bowing of the walls, you can't ignore the problems because those issues are going to get worse. That's why you need to call Alabama Professional Services at 205-951-9717. It'll be the best decision you've made to protect your home. APS is going to send a team out. They really know their stuff. They'll inspect everything, explain the problem clearly, and offer solutions that are tailored to your home. No pressure, just honest advice. So if you're dealing with foundation issues, a wet basement, sinking concrete, or any other issues around your home, do yourself a favor. Call APS 205-951-9717 or go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. When we come back, we'll do some ponders. That's all next. Damian Mitchell joins us here on Three Man Front. 148, this is Jox, three-man front. Update from Atlanta, Conrad, as the Braves have gotten on the board against the Giants.
That's right. The Braves scored 3 runs. The bad news is that the Giants also added 3 more runs. So the Giants up 9-3 right now on Atlanta. In the top of the 8th inning, 2 outs, nobody on. So a bit of an uphill climb here for Atlanta as they have 2 more at-bats to try to even things up. While we talk about diamonds, or wait to hear about diamonds.
Oh, yes, Diamonds Direct. Well, the biggest event of the summer is here, the Summer Designer Showcase. It's a limited time event packed with designer jewelry, special guests, and major savings. You'll even get an extra 20% off almost everything in the store, and it's all happening July 25th through the 27th, but the deals actually start now. You can get 20% off the 21st through the 27th, and like I said, the event starts on the 25th, so go check them out in the Cahaba Village in Mountain Brook.
All right, so as expected, the SCORE Act that has been being debated up on Capitol Hill that is supposed to be able to protect, give some legislation backbone to what's going on with the House settlement and things of that nature, that has passed and been approved by the House Energy and Commerce Committee. It went along party line votes. It passed 30-23. So now it will go to the House of Representatives to try to get passed. Now, the general feeling is that it will probably, once again, be along party lines. And the Republicans, they hold the majority in the House of Representatives, so they believe that that will pass. But then it will go to the Senate, and supposedly they do not have enough votes in the Senate.
Are they going to reban collectives? That would be funny if we just kind of went back and forth with, can we do this? Can we not?
So it's just wild. I heard you guys this morning in our remaining minutes on the show. Damian Mitchell joins us in studio. I was listening to you and Conrad this morning talking about the Stallion situation. And you're a guy that, you have been a part of the Horseman group. Like, you were down there. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just being honest. You're down there. You're a huge
Wear
fan.
with pride, Damian. Well, not your shirt, because you don't wear that at the games. But
yeah, you take your shirt off. You're down there with the group. But but seriously, it's just like our family that we have developed on Tuesdays at Social Taco. I'm not getting corny, but we consider all those folks that hang out with us every Tuesday really like family members.
Absolutely.
And I know the same can be said with those Stallions fans that have made it an incredible atmosphere, especially the Horsemen and everyone down in the end zone.
Yeah, and that's why it sucks, man. Like, we were invested. We were invested in the team, in the modern era of football.
And it didn't matter the weather. That was the thing that was always amazing.
No,
it was
no.
The worse the weather, it was like the fans were having more fun in the end zone.
And we were winning championships. Like, it was I think the best thing that happened was that the first year of it was here in Birmingham. So we never felt like we were distant away.
Yeah.
And I think, moving the hub around and we didn't get a chance to see, just some of the players just interact here in Birmingham anymore. Yeah, you kind of lose a little bit. But every time that there was a kickoff here in Protective, more than likely we were going to be there.
So let me ask you this. Let's say that hypothetically the worst case scenario happens, the Stallions get moved out. Let's say they're in Boise, whatever, the Boise Stallions. Will you continue to watch them and support them will you still feel that connection to them because they were once the Birmingham Stallions? No. You're out. You're done.
Obviously on a much smaller scale, but that's the way I was when the football St. Louis Cardinals left St. Louis.
Yeah.
Because I grew up a St. Louis Cardinals football fan. Mm-hmm. And then we moved to Arizona. I'm like, no, I'm out. And guess what? When the Rams moved to St. Louis,
same thing.
I wasn't a Rams fan.
Nope.
They won a Super Bowl, played for 2 Super Bowl championships. I wasn't rooting for them. Could care less.
I'm with you, man. No, I will not. No, if they move, who wants to watch them in Boise?
Apparently, the people that I talked to in Boise,
nobody.
They were laughing.
See, but Brian Harsin will come back and coach them if that happens.
I'm sure he's going to be looking for a job after California realizes that they have hired someone that made everyone on the team transfer.
Hey, you don't.
Hey, cheers to the winners, though.
Cheers to the winners. Who needs a running back? Let them all go in the portal.
Conrad was talking to us during the break, Molly, and he was like, well, if they move to Boise, they better play on that blue turf. And I said, Conrad, they don't have a lot of options of where they're going to play.
Yeah, I didn't really think about
in
that.
Boise.
Like some high school.
Oh, the Kippy Dome. Oh, wait, no, that's not in Boise. Just kidding.
Yeah, I guess Bluefield's cool. I still like it.
Me too.
Isn't the Kippy Dome, isn't that where the Vandals play?
Yeah, Idaho.
Yeah, exactly.
What city, though? Are they? What city are they in?
Is there another big city in Idaho outside
Couldn't
of
tell
Boise?
you. Couldn't tell you.
There's Pocatello. It might be in Pocatello.
I don't think I could name you a single city in Idaho that's not.
It's in
Boise.
Moscow.
Moscow. They play in Russia.
Oh,
Can
Alex
you believe that?
Golish. That's where UCF's or USF's from.
Pocatello's another big city in Idaho, right?
Pat, you could say any word right now, and I would think it was a city in
Right.
Idaho.
Look that up for me, Molly. See if I'm right.
I did not know Alex Golish was from Idaho.
Okay, well.
No, he's from Moscow.
Moscow.
This stinks.
No,
because
like
real Russia.
Yeah.
Boise to
Stop.
the Kibidon is a 6-hour drive, unfortunately.
Really?
Pat, tell Damien, is Alex Golish not Russian?
Yes.
Oh, it really is.
Yes.
No, he's legitimately
Yeah,
like he was born in Russia.
He was born in Moscow, Russia.
He's the only FBS head coach that was born in Russia.
Yeah.
We've gotten very familiar with Mr. Golish over the last couple of seasons and a
yeah.
couple of
Makes sense.
run-ins with the
So Molly,
Alabama
was I
Crimson
right, or I
Tide.
did make that town up?
I'm sorry, what's it called again?
Pocatello. Yeah, there it is.
Population of?
58,064.
Oh, okay.
Elevation 4,462 feet above sea level.
Man.
See,
tough if you got asthma.
It's the largest city in Bannock County. How did you not know that?
Old Bannock County. Old BC.
You're not far from Wyoming.
Even better.
There's a Hayden, Idaho, and it has a very similar. It has bigger population than the one here. They have 16,000
I
people.
wonder what their demographics look like.
If you want to go to Pocatello,
What do you think, Damien?
$617.
A lot of snow.
$617.
That's fine.
To fly there?
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
It's 9 hours and 54 minutes from Birmingham.
Not bad.
Think of a lot of things I'd rather do with 9 hours and 54 minutes of my time than fly to Idaho.
I've actually been to Idaho. It is beautiful.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's a gorgeous state.
Now you can go watch the UFL, apparently.
That's right.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Appreciate you tuning in on this Wednesday. We will be back, the full crowd tomorrow. Landrum back in studio with Conrad, Molly, and myself. Thank you, Damien, for hanging out with us. Stay tuned. Keep it locked right here to Jox. Much more to come. We will talk at you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Have a great afternoon.